Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful day. We missed yesterday. If you guys weren't there, I wasn't there. I wasn't feeling it. Had nothing nice to say, so I kept my mouth shut. But the market is going back and forth. I don't know if you guys noticed the volatility. You got a little bit more bond volatility. A lot of people are going crazy over gold, silver, and everything else in between. But long story short, this critical minerals deal, everything else we're dealing with, it is definitely becoming an issue because you're going to hear something else. And what I mean by that, you heard earlier about China, and then Donald Trump said that, then they walked it back, but now they're even talking about other stuff with critical minerals and what's going to happen. So we have a little bit of that. Other than that, you had earnings, and then again, bank earnings were actually pretty decent. It was a high bar, and they all were able to do very, very well. So other than that, we'll see where it lines up. I'm sure you're going to see, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of critical minerals plays, and we'll figure out how that takes us all in. But other than that, I have a couple I'm going to be watching: Broadcom, Qualcomm, Bitcoin, Meta, CYN. They had a deal there, something like Pepsi, but a different Pepsi. And then NMG, Omex, those are some rare earths. And then DHT, that was the one. Oh, what was DHT? We just went through DHT, but I do have a couple of things. There's a Oracle event still. You're going to hear more from NVIDIA, but there's a few laggers. But I don't know, man. Remember we were talking Friday about planting? I think it indeed was a planting. Oh, yeah, that was ports. Good work, guys. Yeah, GDI or whatever. GDHT. That one's ports. China port thing. But yeah, so Friday kind of was a plant day. That's going to be the only problem, is that you're not going to really know when to plant or not. That's kind of the issue. Powell's going to be at 12. Because like I'm saying, most of these plays you're going to want today are up a lot already. So even yesterday, it was kind of like that. So other than that, we got 20 seconds. I did not get to go to the bathroom yet. Oh, no. All right, I need to go pee, you guys. I think you'll be good. All right, I'll be right back.
What we know from Etsy, this is a direct attack on Amazon, and there isn't a vertical that OpenAI doesn't want to go after. And this is a good example of why every time we want to say pie in the sky, Walmart, you want to own Walmart today because of this announcement with OpenAI and ChatGPT.
When you speak to the people at the center of this, like Octane, Carl, they indicate that AI, in their opinion, essentially will change everything. That seems to be the overall theme. And that's why you have the Capitol following that belief.
With that, let's get this opening bell and the CNBC real-time exchange. At the big board this morning, it's online marketplace Etsy, celebrating its transfer to the NYSE from the NABE. We're going to talk to John Silverman in about an hour. At the NASDAQ, it's Collegium Pharmaceutical, focused on pain management, celebrating its 10th listing anniversary. As Brett fills in, Jim, and we start tackling some of these single stock stories. I know you want to hit J&J on their earnings.
Yeah, look, I spoke with Joaquin Duarte. He's beginning to become the spokesperson for the pharma industry in terms of the way things should be done. When I was talking with him, he spun off the orthopedic this morning. Why? Because there's not a lot of science to new knees. There just isn't. They haven't developed anything. It's keeping their price earnings multiple back. It's another brilliant move. The spin-off of Kenvue, obviously, looking really great. Hindsight's 2020. Who knew that RFK Jr. was going to go after Tylenol? But that was a remarkable quarter. They are the fast-growing pharma company. I think that J&J is the paradigm shift that we've seen, which is you got to get rid of anything that doesn't grow quickly. Look at that. Look at that chart. This started, by the way, when they decided to fight the plaintiffs' bar.
Dude, why is it so crazy? All right, my bad. All right, I had to go to the bathroom. But yeah, they were getting really excited for that. Again, watch the bank continuations. You guys remember what happened even with Pepsi. That one lagged a little bit. But yeah, it sucks. I have a couple that I'm looking at. Watch that port play. That one's actually down. Roaring. It's funny because there's a couple names moving up. Oh, there's your what's it called? There's your pizza. But yeah, like I'm saying, planting wise, you only have a couple of options. That's weird. A couple of earnings plays moved up. Oh, that's the other one. Yeah, UPS, pizza. That Walmart deal kind of already faded. I mean, I don't know if it involves data centers. Yeah, Baba. So I hope you guys realize you're doing that back and forth with China, like just the tensions. You know, that was a nice reminder of what we dealt with at the beginning of the year. You didn't have, remember, when was the last time we responded to a Trump tweet? You know, think about it. In the beginning of the year, you were very responsive, but not the same now. Look at that one. These ones are the shitty ones. Yeah, bank earnings were not bad at all. It was a very high bar. Some people were even thinking bank earnings were gonna kind of shock us a little bit, but nah, that one I want to say you dodged a bullet. Got one. CL on the high, and then ZG, Globe. I'll get you guys a checkup here in a little bit. Oh, doesn't UPS have earnings coming up? Again, you already got one of them. Was that FedEx already? These ones are expensive. Jazz. Oh, my bad. I thought you were posting a play. You saw again. So again, the minerals, I just sent out one. I'd watch them, but unfortunately they're not today's not the planting day for some of them. Again, everybody is kind of going apeshit. If you really think about it. Yeah, load ticker. I mean, again, just think about how you kind of opened up here on the start. So a lot of yesterday they were up, and then you just had this gap down. You even have fucking UVXYs coming back up. So watch those premiums. We already made those free. Oh yeah, you had the KDP buyout too yesterday, or there was a rumor of that. All right, so SPY's already started. Damn, you're down 1.8. You guys remember we haven't hit the 3% yet. So I remember Friday was like insane, but that's actually one of the pretty pictures. But you guys realize we haven't done the 3% sell-off yet, let alone a 5% sell-off. But yeah, you're already hitting one of those moments. So Friday did not count. That was like 2 point something, 2.7 on the SPY. No, that one's not gonna work. Oh, I found a San Diego company I need to call. All right. Yeah, Bitcoin. Gold is starting to take a stick. Yeah, UPS. Oh, a lot of the mineral plays. Some are holding up, but just they gapped up so hard. Damn, Thermal and all the other ones already dropped. Yeah, they already gave up like 3/4 of their gains. That was a harvest. Well, yeah, you've literally one candle of the morning has been green. Every other one is coming down right now. Yeah, Friday was 2.7. It's kind of nuts. So, yeah, we still have that in play here. And then just this back and forth. I mean, one day you saw, we were listening how Trump kind of walked it back on Friday. And then you see the gap up. But even yesterday, these little, like, small incremental China decisions, now they're kind of being met with heightened volatility. But the thing about it that you got to watch is that bond volatility picked up. Just like I was telling you guys the other day, that as long as you don't have bond volatility, you're kind of chill. Market doesn't like that. But yeah, so you got it. Yeah, Friday was a little mini shock. And like I said, you didn't. When was the last time you responded to a Trump tweet? You know, they forgot about taco and all of that. That's why it was funny how the reaction you got on Friday. Cullinan Therapeutics, Nivda, Amdizzle, Intel. Intel's down 5. Jeez. And then Amdizzle's going up. Again, they had some other deal. Lyft is on the high. A couple names on the low tick or on the high ticker are picking up right now. So I'm about to go red to green. No, the after hours didn't count. Yeah, that's why it's odd. No, there were some China comments. They actually implemented the port fees, and then they were kind of just keeping that same rhetoric that got us here, and then everybody kind of flipped out. Because I think we're going to get volatility. Until the earnings start to smooth things out, this little bond volatility I think it's going to have to work its way through the market. Yeah, dude, silver's insane. I mean, dude, I have a chart for you on silver. I actually have very pertinent information. I'll go over it later. Jazz, 3M on the high. And then Zillow again. All right, high ticker's starting to ramp up here. 1.8 on the NASDAQ, 1.4 on the Russell, 1.0 on the Dow. It's pretty ugly. And again, I'd watch the tech stocks, see what they end up doing there. All right. Pizza. Yeah, bro, what the fuck is this? Let me see this one. So now look though, if there's anything you wanted, if it's red, hopefully you could get a planting day. I don't know. You guys remember Friday? And we were talking, I was like, if anything, that's where you'd want to plant. Some of you did not like that comment, but I hope you guys are noticing just how obvious it is on some of these days where it's like really up a lot. It's like you're not going to find a good play there versus if it is actually red. Lace, that one shot up again. That's that one, the Swiss one. We saw them the other day. It's up 15%. Yeah, Lace just did it. Is that 50 cents? Jeez. Oh, wait. Seal weekend collaboration to develop post-quantum to secure data. Oh. Yeah, that just came out literally 1 minute ago. Lace. So literally I think it's the I wanted it to be a government contract, but it's just a random contract. Company Post Quantum Wecan, a leading Swiss global compliance company. So yeah, you're getting a headline there on that. G-Wave. What's this? Oh, isn't it? Dude, these are all pumps from like 10 years ago. Dude, I'm pretty sure G-Wave was like an old weed stock. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just like GWH, if you remember, the other day. But yeah. Lace Quantum out in November. Yeah, they had that government one too. Alright. Well, Lace distracted me. But watch out for that if you want it. YMC. Damn, you're still going down? G-Wave is minerals. Yeah, watch out. It's, dude, there's been 3-4 green candles all day today. So again, you had the little pop the other day, chill out tensions. I mean, bank earnings weren't bad, but in a weird way, I mean, that is part of today. So now JP Morgan's flipping. They're down 3.9. Wells Fargo's still up, but think about it. You have some areas doing good, but now everybody else is just responding to whatever this back and forth we're doing. Yeah, ACI had earnings. They killed it. So that could be one of the staples. And watch out for that. Look at XLP. If we do start to dump here, be on the lookout for that. Yeah, Oracle's going down. Who's the other one? Broadcom. Yeah, they're all down 4 or 5%. Some more than others. Even Apple's starting to drill right now, too. All the old scams are now dude, I found like 2 of them. So I have one I want to call. He's in San Diego. But like, dude, there's some really sketchy minerals place. So imagine all the ones we've hit and all the ones we've went through. But dude, there's a whole nother category of just fucking this sketch box. And a lot of them have moved already too. But I'm like, damn, this is all right, man. How deep do you want to go? But I'm pretty content until we get, I'd focus on the main ones until we get a planting day. But then, you know, every now and then there's a couple popping up, or every day pretty much. Yeah, let me get this one. That's not going to work. Beto? That Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin started again. Bitcoin gapped down a lot. And then Fastenal on the high. They were a loser yesterday. You got TJX on the high as well. Is that clothing names? But yeah, high ticker's starting to really run, even though SPY is still in the gutter. It's mostly big tech right now. Flutter now, first set of highs. That's going. Now Ethereum, literally last couple minutes, crypto trying to bounce off the bottom. But that's really weak today. So you're going to have to see. Even then, it was weak last Friday. So depends on the time frame. And then silver is starting to go up. Gold is the one that's in the green. Silver was doing insane. There's nothing to do with the fucking emergency rate cut. Why do you keep saying that? Okay, go to the other chat, man. I don't think this one's for you. Thank you. VTR. That's when you're going to start. If we get any material pops, that one's just going to start moving. EDHL, Everbright Digital. 10%, 100%. Never mind. That's your pump of the day, probably, till it stops. Oh, there's another thing. Home builders. Watch out for that. There's a couple that I saw on a scanner, but then now they're all up here today. And then I want one. We could do that. Yeah, I don't know what EDHL is. SPY's finally bouncing there. That started with crypto. Oh, dude, you whammy. You have like 2,000%. Take it whenever you want. I don't know if you... They're 3,000%. So yeah, do what you need to. EDH augmented reality. Did it, what? Oh, little scammers. All right. Well, that's what I gotta talk about. But yeah, silver is going crazy in the real world now. So it all started on paper, but now it's hitting real world effect, kind of like what you saw in 2021. Dude, the government shut. Dude, it's been 3 weeks. You guys realize that? It's literally, we have been shut down for 3 weeks. So we are starting to hit some of those records. Like I'm telling you, afterwards, I think that's going to be kind of the issue. Yeah, the buyout one, we haven't heard anything on that one. And then wait till you hear, again, I think the Papa John's one you're going to hear by the end of the week. So, like I was saying this morning, that Papa John's offer was very different. So, notice that it's still holding up, but that was different than the Saudis. It came from Apollo. It had a price tag, and it had a date. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd watch pizza. Pizza. I'm surprised. I think they had to pay a premium because of us. I think they would have got it for like 50 without us, you know? Tesla, Intel, 2-week low on Intel. Trafigura says huge oil demand growth came from China. I think we might breach the level on the shutdown, yeah. I think we're going to break the record of 36, which happened in 2018. Dude, you guys were talking last week about jewelers. I was telling you, man, like jewelry, anything tied to just the commodity, gold and silver. It's just now there's a whole nother market around there. Just because that's going crazy. You know, it's not as if every other thing is doing bad. Or like, it's not like every other asset is ripping like that, but gold and silver is like insane. He said the shutdown's affecting the economy. I think he meant it in a different way, but yes, it does. I mean, it has a price tag, all of it, but I would encourage you to just stick to the original idea. You're more likely going to see the reaction after the government is no longer shut down. That's kind of the idea. Yeah, those old, we had a little small set of free VIXs. They're going up. Can I explain how layoffs work with the shutdown? I cannot. You're a smart guy. You can look it up. You'll figure it out. I have faith. Those little fuckers. Yeah, everybody is. So physical silver demand is now getting fucked up. It's like real. So like, yeah, all of this hype and everything else, man, it's getting pretty crazy. Did they just fucking rob me? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I was like, did I just get robbed, dog? I did not get robbed. We're good. Target, let me see UPS. Dude, I mean, they were talking about how the Target, even your girl Taylor Swift, that didn't even make it go crazy. All right, SPY's coming back up though, you guys. You were down by like 1819 on the NASDAQ. Russell, Dow, SPY, they were all kind of struggling, but you are working your way up right here. And then I don't know where any of the minerals plays are. Some are more than others. Some are coming back down. APLD, that one's starting to wake up. Hub, someone just said Google. Check weed too, man. They were kind of moving around, but we haven't heard anything on that. And I haven't looked into biotechs. Healthcare is starting to tick up right now. XBI. All right, some of the drone names are trying to go. That GWH is coming down 24. We'll go back to the banks too. Don't forget about those. Chipotle on the high. You know they downgraded Chipotle, Sweet Greens, and pizza. So that's a very specific list. But yeah. TKO. Amara, where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's holding up, not too bad. I just watch out gold or silver goes crazy, then see if the pockets of the minerals come back up. Other than that, watch China financials and then any front run for tech. But yeah, I'm not too scared. I hope you're not. You guys remember some of the theories we've talked about, and I guess I'll give you one more. Does anybody know what this chart is? Oh, I think it says it. Do you know what this is? Do 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 get a long term. Do 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 do. So, the chart that you're looking at is buybacks. So yeah, you're going to get I think November is the highest amount of buybacks, and that starts here very, very shortly. So that's going to be part of it until the bigger companies report, and then yeah, you have all the other, and that's part of that end of the year seasonality and liquidity. But I do think that after the last earnings, November has been the highest earmarked amount for corporate buybacks. So we'll see. That's going to factor into everything as well. Get yeah, those WWRs now the premiums are ripping. Oh dude, where's Path actually? There he is. That option's still held actually. BlackRock think on AI, this capital that is mostly well spent. All right, well, JP Morgan's still going down. Disney now with a couple of candles. So it's up by 0.15, but it looks like something's developing. I will check. French screen leader suspension. I don't see anything on it. Then yesterday, was it Taylor Swift, I think, again? I don't know. The Taylor Swift headlines don't hit the same. Now Cigna is starting to move. Just be on the lookout if any healthcare goes up. Whoa! What the 1,500? Oh, I love you. But dog, I love you. I do need to turn off. Let me see. I'm gonna turn off the donos, you guys. We're gonna stay locked in. How do I do it? I still haven't figured that out. But thank you, brother. Thank you. You guys know it's almost Christmas? I'm excited. Disney. Yeah, man. I don't know how to turn them off though. So. Powell's going to be at 12:30, yes. WPP. Whatever that is. Yeah, WPP 2%. What the fuck is this? WPP. It looks mad liquid. I don't know if it's US or not. I have no idea what this is. WPP. Marketing services. Yeah, public relations. Martin Stewart Sorrell. No idea what that is. And then CCI, Verizon, SBAC. A couple of things on the high actually are really running. WPP is a marketing agency. Right. Boost AI with 400 Google deal. Well, there you go. So yeah, it's a marketing agency with a Google info or a Google deal. Kind of random. It's literally like public relations and shit. Target, DraftKings, you had Flutter moving up earlier. SBLK, WPP, Google deal. It's all you, baby. Good luck. It's still moving there. PSKY. That's not, what's it called? WBD, is it? And then Google's going up. Okay, I'll keep that WPP. DraftKings, Flutter, the gambling ones. Again, you even had the news of Robinhood trying to buy one. So that was part of it. And then silver's now climbing up. That was the underperformer. NASDAQ still 1.5. It's the Russell that's coming up a lot now. Russell's only 0.6, Dow 0.8. What time is it? 7. Let me get you guys a checkup. Okay. Oh, you're right. Argentina is today. I don't have a time on it. IBKR launches enhanced version of IBKR. Wolf. I'm surprised we didn't hear more about that. Oh, that's a different wolf. This is the bankrupt wolf. You know, they like that one. And then Lace is still going up. I mean, actually, I went up another 5%. So, yeah, high ticker's really running. I didn't even get you it. I'm just clicking around, bro. I have so much. There's so many things. What was it? What was I going to tell you? The checkup. Dow Jones, 14 green, 16 in the red. NASDAQ, 32 in the green, 68 in the red. And then SPY, 279 green, 222 in the red. You actually have more names green on the SPY. It's the NASDAQ and Dow that are kind of struggling. There's Boeing. Again, some of these small cappers are coming up. Some sold off really, really hard. Yeah. GLW. Baba again? Or? Vava or Baba? Which one is it, Habibi? Yeah, they're going up. High ticker is almost fully gas, so I mean, it's still ugly on the NASDAQ, but you've recovered a decent amount. I mean, that's 50 points on the SPY, you guys. So you're another 50 points away from the gap down. But, yeah, generally, this is way lower than any point yesterday. You went back into yesterday's low. So I guess we just filled the gap, no? I don't even think we did fully. That's awkward. Awkward. UNH red to green. Wolf is a data center play. There was two. There was like Pixie and another one yesterday too. RGTZ. What the fuck? That's Rigetti, right? Daily target short Rigetti. Yeah. So Rigetti is dropping. OpenAI and Sur Energy sign letter of intent for large-scale data center in Argentina. Whoa. Which one's that? Yo, find that one. Surge and WPP, but OpenAI and Sur Energy. It's OpenAI just did an Argentina deal. Oh, is it Canada? Sur Energy. I can't even find this fucking thing. What the fuck is Sur Energy? SUR. Yeah, was there not? Where's that? Discussing with Argentinian government AI adoption across Argentina. I know, I think it'd be an Argentina company, but I can't find it. Remember, that's where LAR came into play. But yeah. Argentina, boomba, boomba, boomba. These are awful. Is it Surge? It's Sure, S-U-R. No G. Meta on the high. Yeah, Meta's actually doing better out of all of them. AXP ripping. Just like a slow melt-up rip, not like a stick. And then SAP, a couple of others actually going up. Sure isn't public. Yeah, I don't think so. It's Argentinian. Tap, Google, Zillow, pizza. I'm telling you, that offer yesterday, I hope you already listened and yeah, looked at it. LAR is just, remember that one's just random, hella speculative, all related to Argentina. But if we do get something today, that'll be great. There's some weird premium moves, so people are getting jumpy. All those UVXYs, even the bond, I don't like the bond volatility. It started with me not liking the gold and silver volatility. So yeah, if we have that and then you start getting bond volatility, it's not going to be good. But other than that, though, I just think we're going to play this game until it's Christmas time. Well, like I told you, I mean, big drop and then front run. Things could change, but I'm still sticking to that theory. As long as nothing material develops, like if China really escalates, yeah, and then we have a problem. But other than that, if you were there, I mean, middle of the battlefield game, I was listening. I was like, man, he's not even saying anything. We closed out the UVXY after hours, and we got to make money on it. But it was, it just seemed like it caught everybody off guard. But I don't think it was there yet. But if it does escalate, everything changes. If it doesn't escalate, I think this is one of the easiest setups. Yeah, Friday was crazy. That's why we got that. Sir Energy, a new U.S. based and clean energy. Oh, mine says it was a Argentinian company. XLF, TGT, and GLD. Ups. That took forever to hit there, though, if you think about it. So we'll see if they don't cut their dividend this earnings or not. There'll be one more verbal escalation, yeah. And you could try to play that, but I think the real issue is going to be just if it escalates. If we get a real escalation, you got to be ready. Everything goes out the window. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's in the cards. So, but as long as you don't get that, we're on the same thing that got us here. And then even then on Friday, if you did use that as a planting day, as we talked about, there was a lot. You woke up to good opportunity. Spotify. Okay, Spot and a couple of others are starting to ramp up. Yeah, all the mineral plays is chilling. Yeah, they did. So Morgan Stanley and another bank, they put out XBI in their weekend note to their investors. So I gave it to you guys the day before. I didn't read it, so I was ahead of them on that one. But yeah, so we're not the only ones looking at that. They even brought up ARC. They brought up the long duration. Same thing we've been talking about. So yeah, that's the gift. But like we're saying, as long as we don't get derailed. I think if we don't get derailed, that should be great. If we do get a real material development, then like I'm saying, just get ready to throw everything out the window. But I don't want to throw it out the window, if that makes sense. When people hear me say that, they're like, yeah, let's throw it out the window. But it's like, no, I don't want that. But I'm ready to, if that makes sense. Kind of like the Chad, now that I think about it. So yeah, you got to be ready for it. But the easy answer is the easy setup. But be ready. Dude, gold is disgusting. Are we losing confidence in money? It doesn't even matter. Because like we talked about, the fact that it's already moved like this, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you're like, do we lose confidence in gold? Well, it's already up 50% after going up 20, it's 30. So, you know, it's like if people are buying gold for a debasement trade, the currency doesn't need a debase if everybody believes it and it shows up. So in a weird way, gold is already showing that. That's like, how can we ignore it? it's a very, and then bro, I have so much. So yeah, you're gonna have to wait for that one. I got a lot of gold and silver stuff to share with you guys. Bros, there's another CMG. Yeah, Bros is starting to ramp up. I think Bros got a downgrade too. Intel's climbing back. That was his worst day in 2 weeks, I think. I feel like we've seen worse though. Isn't silver highly manipulated? Gold, all of them are. You know, just with how they have a central exchange in like the UK, silver is a little different. But even then, it doesn't. This year, the last 2 years, what's going on with the dollar, I mean, this is just beyond any, you can't even manipulate that type of rush. So unfortunately, there is still some manipulation on the price, but I don't think it's, I think at this point, it's saying something way bigger. Dude, gold and silver now. So silver especially, you know, this is the last one I'm gonna show you. Where is it? But I was shocked because I was telling you this is what we need to see happen finally. Because I brought this up in passing a couple times, but remember I was telling you how like paper silver kept going up, but it wasn't hitting real silver. Well, now it's hitting real silver. This is the 3-month like lease rate. It's highest on record. So people are paying the highest premium on record to hold silver on hand. That was not prior. Like I'm telling you, even in 2021, the little burst for historical levels, that's what shot silver up. And then we went up, we went down. We've done this already a couple times this year, but now it just skyrocketed. So now silver is in like literal low supply right now, just in general. And then anybody who has it on hand, they're charging a premium because if you want it right now, you got to pay for that. Oh, BKR. All right, I think I have one more. You got a gold and silver shop? That's dope. Dude, I'm turning into a boomer because damn, Derek got me like a Halo silver coin, like one of those, what is it, commemorative coins? Oh, dude. And I never thought I would like that shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? I always was like, why would anybody buy silver? Why would anybody buy silver of like a theme? You know what I'm saying? I just viewed it as a coin. Oh, dude, I love it. I want to buy all of them now. I understand now. I get it. He got me this little Master Chief silver ounce, bro. And I'm like, bro, I want the whole squad. I want to get I want a Kobe one. Do they got a Kobe Bryant silver? I want a Kobe. Dude, I get it now. I'm like, I thought you guys were boomers. I was like, man, why y'all doing that? Oh, dude, I got my first one. And now I'm, I love it. Yeah, I don't know. It just hits different. It hits different because you're like, oh, I love that theme. And then you're like, oh, it's also silver. It's a commodity, you know? I'm down, bro. I'm down. I loved it. I loved it. The peace deal. That was part of yesterday, too, you guys. I got to... It was very nice enjoying a historic day in my home country that symbolized a big peace day. And it was great watching that without having to fucking hear people talk shit for no reason. So I enjoyed it. And I'm very grateful for the peace, man. You have no idea. I hope it lasts, but either way, peace is peace, dude. I want it that way. UAL Delta. Pizza. Okay. Yeah, pizza's up 5. That's kind of usually it sells off 10 after these rumors. I don't know if you're aware of that. But yeah, that's moving up. But you also have Bros, CMG, a couple of other restaurants that underperform. Just some are moving more than others. Equal weight green on the day. I want it long term. Everything feels slow. I mean, yesterday was pretty active too, man. But we're playing this nice game. And then it's also earnings too, so don't forget about that. Like, you got to think about it. You know, this earnings season, you get the run up, you get the report, and then we're going to go in waves. So that's part of it. So imagine tie in the politics, tie in what you've been dealing with, but then you also have the beginning here of earnings. And then before you know it, more buybacks and all these other different things. And here we will be, my friend. Yeah, ACI was up a little bit more earlier. They had good earnings. Soxel, high ticker is really gassing. So remember, you already moved up 50 points. I think you have another 50 points to fill the gap, but now you're slowly starting to melt on up, my friend. So yeah, let's get it, baby. I want it long term. Upstart, RTAC, Google, bigger volume on pizza. Yeah, ARM, again, they had an OpenAI deal. I guess they didn't get to go 40%. Just not for everybody. Regeneron, G-Wave again. Car. F-Cell is, that's the energy ones are weird. I took another list, so I'll go over it eventually. But there's a whole nother minerals list, but most of them are like shittier quality. But then there's a lot that are tied into like other materials. I don't know how to describe it. Like there's different minerals that you use even for like energy extraction. So like some energy names, they have mineral shit. That's the other part about this. And then there's one more I forgot. Oh, I'm blanking. But yeah. Oh, then the others are the shitty ones now. Most of them are just, you're left with lower quality ones. American Superconductor. Oscar, see if XLV in healthcare. Again, XBI wants to go green. I did good yesterday too. Even on the red day, I did pretty well. Lunar, Palant. Yeah, Palantir's starting to ramp up here. TMQ, that's another metals play. Is that the first one hitting today? Because again, they all like gapped up and then they all just sold off like 20%. So, hi! Yeah, that was going up though. TMQ. There's another one I play. I'm forgetting it, dude. I don't even remember how you do this one. Oh, that was the one. The Eric was just earnings. They had earnings, and then it usually gets the pump. LAC, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, they're coming up there. That one's like barely back to green, but at least it's going. TMQ's up 40% though. That's what I'm saying. Out of the ones like WWR was up 30%. Now it's up only 7. Doesn't take much. Antimony. So that's the thing. I had the antimony's a fucking weird one, dude. It's very weird. In terms of who makes it and how to get it. That's why like UAMI legitimately does have it. Our play's up 3,000%. But other than that, there's only one more. I found one more antimony provider. Oh, it's the sketchiest shit I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to play it. Should I do it? That's the problem. I don't even, can you even get it on Robinhood? It's like hella shady. But yeah, you can't even buy it on Robinhood. It's OTC. I have 2 OTC ones. And I don't know. I think those are if it really goes crazy. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to go near them. So I'm pretty content. That's why I kind of even then, you might get like a crazier bubble. But then I do think these planting days, just easy if you take advantage of it. Damn. I didn't even, that stock is ripping right now. I didn't even say anything. Yeah, so somebody just bought some of it. That's hilarious. I didn't even tell you guys what it was. It's literally ripping right now. You won't see it though. That's what I'm saying. Unless this was the shadiest one. I want it long term. No, there's some real shitty ones. But those you need, that's like fucking stage 3 motherfuckers can't contain themselves. Till then, your better bet is waiting. The ones we already know about now, you just get them on planting days. While the premium and like while the hype is still working. Otherwise, eventually it'll be gone. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Oh, I forgot about the value names. Yeah, LAC starting to work its way up. That's good. Check LAR as well. That Ioner one went. That was the one that we flipped out. But then again, you made 100% on WWR, so I don't regret that one anymore. Oh, that was dirty. I did it, bro, and I just, it took so long to fill. Even if you put, that's disgusting. Lord. I hate that. Yeah, man, I could just tell. I did an OTC order. Fuck me. That one I'm not gonna tell you guys. I want it long term. Alright, what's the other shitty one? Let me see this one. Let's see. Powell in 1 hour indeed, brother. In 1 hour indeed. Yeah, I did not go live yesterday. IWM equal weight ticking into the green. Warm popping, what's that? Walmart's starting to go. Again, that was a weird one with the OpenAI stuff, and now it's back up there. Then you got Bank of America. I haven't seen them. I've only seen Wells Fargo and JP Morgan today. XOM. Lilly CSO speaking and summon at obesity. Yeah, there's like some minerals conference today. It's small. Yeah, Ila. LAC now. That's like the second one. You guys are bringing up some of the other ones, but yeah, that one's actually going. So like we said, there's a lot of them gapped up, but not every single one held. And now, little by little, some are starting to go. JP Morgan says economy solid, but downturn is possible. I want it long term. Yeah, TMQ, that was the other one. There's a couple out there, like I'm saying though, just to, you guys see how it, you should be trained in how it moves though. You know, think about it. We've been doing these mineral plays for like 3 weeks now. So you guys are really early. I think you were some of the first in the world, even if it felt like you were late. But you guys see how it goes in these waves, and it gaps up, rips down, gaps up. So it's very intense. Very, very intense. You got to be mindful. I have one more, but I think I'm done. BAH, first 5. That's a decent one. 0.56. It's about $1. 0.5%. You need a little bit more, but that could be something. I got LAC again. There you go. They're starting to wake up after that. So good luck and GG's, my brethren. Good luck and GG's. Yeah, well, today we have it, October 14th, right? So yeah, next few days we're going to hear a lot from Argentina. Boomba, boomba, boomba. Again, you even had the OpenAI stuff not too long ago. But there wasn't a play on there. That play was private. MO and value, though. Keep that in mind. I brought that up in the AM. Value's at an interesting spot. Everybody in the BHP. Bro, WWR, man. That was a good one. All right, I'm going to go bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Cult News on Twitter. And did you guys know it's going to be an amazing day? You didn't know that? Oh. Okay. I hope somebody told them. Good morning. I will be right back. God bless America. Thank you, veterans.
To the big board.
To the big board.
Yesterday, and it comes as shares hover at fresh highs, up 20% over the last month following the company's inclusion in OpenAI's new instant checkout shopping feature. Here to break it all down in a CNBC exclusive is Etsy CEO Josh Silverman. Josh, it's good to see you at the exchange. Sorry I couldn't be with you today. I'm in D.C. But you guys characterize this as the new chapter, the next chapter in Etsy. And when I think of the sort of eras that I've covered in Etsy's life, it's the growth in the beginning, it's the COVID era, and now you're kind of in your new AI era. Talk a little bit about that and why the move.
Yeah, well, first, with the move, we're so excited to be along many of the most respected and innovative companies in the world on the New York Stock Exchange. And I think it is an incredibly exciting time for us as we enter our third decade. And so many of the trends, particularly with AI and generative AI, are unlocking incredible new potential for Etsy to achieve our mission even more powerfully than we've ever been able to do before. Etsy is about keeping commerce human. We connect over 5 million sellers with over 80 million buyers. And it's the combination of technology with humans that's so powerful at Etsy. And you know, the New York Stock Exchange with the market maker model is also the combination of technology with humans. So we think it's a nice symbolic moment for this exciting next chapter for Etsy.
Speaking of the stock exchange, is it harder to be a public company? And you know, while your stock has done very well, it's obviously way off the highs that we saw during COVID. Is it harder to be a public company and to invest in a new chapter of growth around AI, really sort of double down in that kind of transformational technology right now? You know,
I love being a public company. I love accountability. We have a really accountable culture at Etsy. And, you know, the investors that we care about are the ones who believe in our future. And we think we've got an incredibly bright future ahead. And so we think investments we're making in technology right now can not only drive a lot of productivity, AI is going to do so much for every company to help with the bottom line, to help them to become more productive. With Etsy, what I'm so excited about is it's also going to help drive the top line because it helps us fulfill our mission even more powerfully. It helps us to become so much more personalized than we could, and to answer questions like which of these items is the most artisanal and the best fit for you, things frankly other other commerce companies are not worried about are uniquely benefited by AI. And so I think the future for Etsy is very bright.
There's an item on the tape this morning about Walmart and ChatGPT. How do you see this sort of disintermediation working out, where you can simply say, get me those brown shoes that I saw the other day on the street?
Yeah, I think that Etsy is disproportionately positioned to win in a world of generative AI and agentive commerce. So many of my peers are coming from a defensive stance where they're worried about these chatbots, because what the chatbots are going to do is they're going to scour the web and they're going to discover that the item for sale in this place is for sale in 50 other places, and now it's just going to help you find the very cheapest version that'll arrive the fastest. On Etsy, we've got over 100 million items that are genuinely unique and special, made by the maker just for you. So we have something really unique to offer, and in that world, I think these chatbots are going to surface Etsy very often as a great alternative, and I think ultimately we are a real winner in this.
So that notion that it's so good at curating and finding the lowest price, hence margin compression, you see yourself being protected somewhat from that?
I think so, because what an agent is going to want to do is not present you usually with one answer. It's going to want to present you with a few choices. Here's the cheapest thing you can buy, here's the thing that's going to arrive the fastest, and then maybe here's the thing that's the most special or unique. And in that world, I think very often Etsy gets presented as one of the most interesting options. And I also think it's going to be able to provide us so much more context. These agents are going to know you really well. And so where often people show up on Etsy and they give us maybe 3 keywords, a chatbot is going to be able to give us paragraphs of context about who you are and what you like, your tastes and your preferences. Is this just for you, or is it a gift for someone else, for example? And we can do so much more with that in that world. That's why we are on offense here. Gift for someone else, for example, and we can do so much more with that in that world. That's why we are on offense here, and we're partnering with many of the leading model builders in their very first launches. We have a seat at the table to help define what this future is going to look like.
Josh, we've known each other for a while. I know you as a fairly thoughtful guy in terms of broadly speaking. What, as you see the evolution of AI, more broadly, do you see the impact? You know, when I think about it, I sort of sometimes wonder, well, are people going to have jobs to spend money on Etsy? How do you view the longer term?
But yeah,
here?
WWR,
Positively?
you remember? That was the watch list where I said, you're going to want to watch it. If you fade it, you're a fool. And then I went over the play, but I noticed something about it. They're not, it sucks. We're already up over 100% on shares. So I think your window, don't do whatever the fuck you want. But I've noticed that when it comes to graphite, a lot of people keep bringing up other graphite names, but they're ignoring that this is literally one of the only ones in the United States with like a real mine. So yeah, that was a really good one. And not to mention the timing and how I told it to you, I think that was probably one of the easier ones. But well, you know, you had to take the risk. It was already up, but even a small amount did extremely well. But yeah, other than that, you guys want to go to Etsy? You guys want to shop on Etsy? No, nobody. Okay. Etsy actually got some cool shit, though. I'm not going to lie. Ugh. Yeah, I think now, I mean, I took a couple more. We could talk about them, but you either harvest, hold, or we got to wait for a good planting day. You kind of had it on Friday. That's it. And I sold some stuff early, too, but like I said, I mean, I have no problem paying myself and making sure this is real and we walk away with it. So at that point, we are. That's why I even took a decent amount on Friday, too. So I'm only using smaller amounts to let it out there as we let this grow. Got them real fossils on Etsy. Holy shit. Now we're talking. Yeah, no, you could go. You could look around. I mean, I'm telling you, Etsy has some stuff. Even as I was getting to the farm stuff, I came there across. Oh, yeah, EU. That moved a little bit, but yeah, you should be up already. I got rid of those ones. I didn't like that one as much. But then again, I don't know if I took all the EU money, moved it to WWR. I took Ionar, moved it to WWR. I took profits and moved it to WWR. That's what I kept telling you guys. But yeah. Can I go over XBI again? I cannot. Go to the watch list. It's a good one. But thankfully, the price isn't up too much, so I'd make your decision. Yeah, I told all of that to you live. I was like, remember Iona? That was a loss. And I was like, I'm going to take the small loss. I don't usually do that. And then I moved all of it to WWR. But yeah, now we've already made it free. I'm fully paid out on WWR. I have a bunch of free ones and free shares. That's the cool part about this, is that if you have made free shares, you get to hold them for whatever the fuck you want. That's the good thing. AMD again, that was a leader in the morning. Even with your boy Intel kind of messing up. Baba too, that's trying to wake up. You did hear correctly. Yes, there will be no more watch list for the rest of the year. So I might do random nightly segments for the locked in, maybe. But for now, I wouldn't expect or plan on anything. The crazy part of WWR, we haven't even got the real headline. So that's what sucks, but it was too good to not make it free. Woo! SYM. Oh, wasn't there? I think it was CYN. There was one this morning. Yeah, Synogen. Speak of the devil, I think it's actually getting a candle. Didn't Synogen have a partnership this morning, I believe? Whoa. Yeah, Drive Mod Independent Bottler with Pepsi. So that was Pepsi, right? Yeah, but that was in the AM. I think it's a robotics play. Just looks fucking terrible. Alright, SPY. KKR on the high. Look, it's just a couple of the material plays. High ticker's fully juiced, though. You're below 1% on the NASI. It was at 1.8 at the worst. And then now you got this Russell up in the green. SPY only down 0.5%. And then Dow Jones, 0.17. Yeah, so no more watch list till end of the year. No, long term, I think I might just do the long term, how the hedge funds do it. Either every quarter or every, like, 1 year. I'll give you guys an update. Then WWR at 3. And then Dow 2. SRR. Isn't that ARC? I think. Uranium ETF going up. Sound. A couple of those small ones. Oh, yeah. I think it's still up 12. CYN does not have options unless my thing's fucking up. Yeah, you don't have any. Then VIX on the low. Peloton! Didn't they have a headline the other day? Something? Someone was hyping it up. In Burlington. Yeah, a lot of the restaurants did it. Ooh, Berkshire style at the farm? I'm down, actually. Why don't we do that? That's a great idea. All right. I like it. I'll give you guys a quarterly update on the long term, but you have to come to the farm. Fair enough. We'll do it all in person. Says the faceless guy. I like that. That's a good idea, too. Citi. That's a good bank. Bank of America is moving up earlier. Yeah, Bank of America really ripped, and Wells Fargo. So watch JP Morgan, because they even kicked it up a little bit. Those are either going to come back down or one after the next. Some are going to lead. TMQ again. Whirlpool new prices. Ooh. I think UPS and Worley. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're actually getting 10% from the last bottom. That matches up with the yield moving down now. I'd want a little bit more, but that's actually not bad at all. CRM, OpenAI news. They had a $15 billion investment. People didn't get hyped up on it, though, yesterday. 360 apps now live. Pizza. Yeah, pizza, no updates yet. All the restaurants are going, but that looks nice for now. Can we do a members online? We'll consider that, yeah, for the internationals. But yeah, we'll see, man. Let's work through it. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about it. I think y'all have expressed that many times. So I just think very simply, I have expressed to you what I want to do this year. Even just a week ago, I was telling you how we were going to return back to free. But, you know, I'm just going to go based off of kind of how we're all vibing and moving. So for now, after all of that, these are the new decisions, and I'll keep everybody else in mind, but that's we're done, you guys. If I have zero obligation to any of you. I think Friday, that would, like I said, I don't want to say anything mean. I'm not trying to bother anybody. I take full responsibility for myself and everything else. So like I'm saying, though, out of just genuine respect, there's zero obligation. So if you don't like it, please cancel now, or please stop interacting with me, because it's only going to get a lot worse. And y'all have triggered that now. But like I say, I think I triggered it. It has nothing to do with any of you guys, and I want good opportunity. I think so. I kind of want to just lead for the rest of the year. I'm going to win at 50-something%, quadrupled, tripled all of my all-time highs on every single trading account. I'm just going to fucking go home. It's been a good year. So I'll leave on the good note, man, and call it a day. That's I feel like that was amazing, but at the same time, we just gotta move through. I was trying to make it free, bro. I just told you guys a week ago how the locked in was gonna open up the door to back to free, no members only, none of that. But the morning stream will be for the locked in guys, but anybody else, yeah, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. doing your work for you for free. Why would I do that? Especially if you're going to yell at me and be mean and rude. I'm going to give it. And then no document for the locked in guys. You guys don't know how to follow rules yet still. But I'll still have some stuff. But morning is for the locked in people now. The Biotech, XBI, XLV, they're working their way up right now. Watch Staples, NASDAQ below 1. Russell's still the same spot. Down with Philo with zero stop. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If you don't think I was tempted, if you don't think I already had a 7-hour audiobook of the Bible ready to go for yesterday, you're mistaken. I was about to. I was about to give y'all 7 hours of audio Bible. And so I was like, man, that would be a good one. But I liked what I did. I just needed to chill, man. I wasn't feeling it. That's it. I told you. I do it because I want to, man. Y'all fucked it up. That's what I think I fucked it up. I allowed too much nonsense. So it's my fault. I love it. But, you know, I'm glad we made money. I'm glad a lot of you did. And you got houses. So that's not going to stop. We just got to keep going. Umana. That's down 4. Those contracts, be very careful. You guys remember last time? But yeah, that's pretty big. Nothing. Yeah, be very careful on those. Blitza, blitza. Humana is said to have lost second lawsuit to reverse Medicare bonus cuts. That could be bad. Ugh, the options are terrible, you guys. Absolutely terrible. So you have to go like near the money there, but they lost the lawsuit for Medicare challenge. That could end up hitting yeah, Humana lost lawsuit. VIVS. Yeah, literally. That's it. The options are tricky. That's the only problem, but that is bad news. I don't know if you're going to take another 3 or 4, but that's even triggering 4 already. Some of it was from the morning, but that's not small. I think, dude, I want to say one of those, it dropped like $50, but I'm not liking any of those options. They're terrible. Some of you picked them up. They already 5x'd. So, yeah, be careful. They're 5x, but it's all just off the spread shit. So be very, very careful. It could be good for UNH or Oscar or what's the other one? Isn't there another one that's small? Oscar, what's that other one that was? Isn't there another healthcare company, like a hospital one that was tiny? No, not CNC. It was like a SPAC. Oh, and everybody loved it, but it was shit. What was that? Fuck. It was one of the health... Was it Oscar? Clove. Thank you, brother. Clove. That's the one. So, yeah, somebody like that Clove benefited last time, I believe, off of Humana's fuck-up. So, yeah, that... And then Oscar, though. Oscar is like the high-quality Clove, pretty much. Strategy, AORT. So yeah, but watch out for those and see how that plays. Clover. Blitza, blitza. All right, that's 7 now. So like I told you guys, we should, this one was very, very weird because now we actually know they actually gave you a real update. And it had nothing to do with the Saudis. You guys are aware of that, right? I hope so. This was all yesterday. You had an opportunity. Not really. Today was kind of the planting day in a weird way, but long story short, that's what we're waiting on. So you're going to find out very soon if that's bullshit or not, which is good. I like that. Tell me why he ain't nothing but a long trade. Oh, Cold Sister deposit? I have no idea, dude. I forgot. That's funny, actually. I wasn't even thinking about that. God bless you. But I don't fucking know. No news on medical devices. No, I've not heard anything. Caterpillar, though, and some of these, like, industrial plays. Dude, that was weird, though, if you really think about it. Remember that day we played MDT? That one didn't materialize into anything. But, yeah, I would like that info. What's the upside on pizza? Because they said 64 a share. Yeah, the last one was 50. I mean, you guys don't think it's weird, though? Like, that's it. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about this shit. Too many of you can't handle yourself. But I don't know, man. I was telling you, like, the hippies back in the day and, like, all the, like, anti-war. I thought we were going to have, like, riots in the street celebrating peace, bro. I thought it was going to be, like, a big deal. Like, you guys know that in the 70s when there would be, like, peace and, like, the end of Vietnam and all. Dude, they would get so happy. But I don't know. I didn't see that. Expedia, another candle. Loved airlines and travel. Actually pretty hot today. So I don't know, man. That could be leading into earnings. Remember, they are right around the corner. And this is the start of earnings season. I don't know who needs to hear that. Yeah, that's definitely the concern, is if it'll be lasting peace or not. But regardless, I mean, that's why. I mean, yesterday I enjoyed it. I got to watch. I watched all of it. I was sitting there trading, doing my thing, and I thought it was a very historic event. And shout out to Egypt. Bobo! Bradley Frizzle! Boeing, Baby Pop, and it's SPR related. It's SPR related. SPR. That's the one. They're both moving in tandem. You're going to get something. But SPR a little bit more poppier. Sadly, these candles are small. So don't let me hype you up. Those are tiny for now, but it looked big on the high ticker. But that's starting to move. Bonds at the bottom. SPY near the high as well. High ticker is doing great. NASDAQ still 1%. The Russell did go negative. SPR now more volume. Boeing delivers 55 jets. 40 737s. 96 new orders. So there you go. It's Boeing delivery numbers. That's what's going up on it. I don't know where that compares to guidance, but 32 737 orders. So yeah, they're going to react. SPR, that shouldn't have moved with it. That made me tie it into other stuff. So we'll see. Tell me why. NWE Gill, again, Boeing delivery numbers, and then that's moving with everything else. SPR, Constellation, another, $2 pop on Constellation. Axon 2, I haven't heard that one in a while. Is that not loading? Yeah, there you go. Target, Team, and I think TTD. No, that one's down. That usually goes with it. Team, though, that one's climbing. High ticker doing very well. Couple of staples now working their way in. Dollar stores, and then a lot of those industrials and home builders. And a little bit of China. Look at that. Yeah, food is doing very well. Again, they all just kind of got some downgrades. Like Sweetgreens is still down. I think Bros is still down? No way. Who else? Yum, they're doing good. Domino earnings, that was it. Domino's, I'm surprised they let it go up because people were, Domino's like kind of warned about slowing consumer, but everything else was good. But everybody liked that still. And then GE on the high. Yeah, path. Those options are still ripping, but yeah, that took a breather. After it's like Reddit got a hold of it, and then but yeah, now you plant until you could regain that hype. You need that hype. And baba. NU Barron's long idea. Sprouts. That's another one of those grocery stores. You already had Albertsons this morning. Should we expect Target to partner with OpenAI? I mean, shit, man. At this point, I wouldn't put it out of the equation. UNP, DIA, more airlines and travel, you guys. Travel like commercial, travel like, you know, tourism. They're all going. Airlines, transports, all of that shit. All right, you're not doing too bad, you guys. This is almost like 70 points. You know that? I think it might be already. To be honest with you, yeah. Yeah, you're at 77 points on the day. And then we got another like 30 to fill the gap. Hi! MDT, that's more. Is that why you were asking about that? Because MDT is climbing. A couple of those devices are moving up. XBI now, that one's lagging now with how much these moved. I think that might be the next one. I'm OpenAI going to partner with OpenAI. Y'all ain't get ready for that one. They'll be like, OpenAI is investing $500 billion into OpenAI, so then OpenAI receives $500 billion, even though they spent. It's OpenAI partners with OpenAI. Sam Altman partnered with OpenAI, and then that'll be the final bubble. That'll be the final one, because they'll realize it like a month later, and they'll be like, wait, what? They're like, you could do that? And then they're going to start spacking it. Yeah, all travel, transport plays, tourism. They're doing good, but it's like the holidays are right around the corner, you guys. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? APG. Apaji. Constellation. That caught my eye for a little bit. All right, Hood. TSM. Intel still whopped. AQMS, what's that? Aqua Metals up 92%. Aqua Metals Inc. Okay, man, it's still mad early too. You guys know that, right? We got 20 minutes till 25 minutes till Euro close. Reinventing metal recycling. I don't even think this does what you think it does. Yeah, I don't think they have a. They don't even have a. It's recycling. Interesting. CTSH. What's this? And then Seleno. But yeah, this Aqua Metals one is it has metal in the name. Dude, I have one, bro. I have the funniest one. I have a... Should we do it? I have a play, and it sounds like a critical minerals play, but it's not. But it's kind of... You guys remember when we played QS, and quantum had nothing to do with quantum, but it did? Do you guys remember that? So there's another one that exists. Cigna. So again, think about it. You had the Humana lawsuit there. You might get an update there on something related to that. Microsoft to rent N-scale capacity in Portugal for NVIDIA. Who's N-scale? Yeah, whoever an N-scale is. Microsoft deal. Coming in now. N-scale. Oh, is that owned? It's owned by NVIDIA, I think. The fuck? Yeah, I see private ones. I don't see anything public. And then there's Cigna now, 2.1. That could be something. Yeah, Medtronic's at the high. And then Boeing again. You had those. Now CVS. With a little. Again, you have Cigna and CVS, you guys. This one's easy. I don't know what the news is, but XLV, something's going on with these health insurers. I'd keep eyes on them from Oscar to whichever one you like. You take your pick, brother. But yeah, that's all coming in right now. End scale is AI. Yeah, it's not public. They're trying to run Cat as an AI play. That it's gonna. I mean, I'll tell you now, man. It's gonna take a couple of years, but that's the next level of this bubble buy or this bubble. You guys don't get it? So I don't know if it'll happen in a month. I don't know if it'll happen in 3 years. Maybe it'll do what 2021 did. We'll have the peak. Everybody gets fucked over. And then give it like another year or two, and then it reemerges. The next stage is going to be what I've always been telling you guys, the physical AI coming to life in factories, in the staples. That's going to be the next bubble. So Cap might be ahead of it, but I'd wait a little. But I could see that. I see what they're trying to do. It makes sense. I just think the timing. Like I said, CVS and the other one. CVS and Cigna. And then there is Cat. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys, we've known about this, and even the minerals, that's all part of the BBB. So, like I said, we're going to go in waves. And then we're obviously going to have to see the material stuff. So I was telling you guys, man, this has been a great year, and I do hope you paid attention, but we got 3 more years of this. And then I do think the final year of Trump is going to have a tremendous amount of fireworks. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of different waves and different industries and stuff that you know about. It's going to come and go in waves, and those are going to be your opportunities. So I do hope you stay locked in, brother. And that is not a membership. That's a mindset. So just don't want to confuse. Don't want to confuse. Well, that's going to come, you know what I'm saying? So, like, machinery, all that. I don't know when. It could happen fast, or in my mind, I could see, like, this material boom chilling out eventually. And then everyone's going to focus on nothing for a little bit, and then it'll be kind of boring. And then out of nowhere, we're going to start seeing those developments with, like, real robots and real robotics in some companies. And then, or maybe it'll show up on their earnings, and then that's going to start the next wave. And then we'll go in. And then also, too, I could go back to the BBB, and I do need to give it another refresher, because there is some triggers in that bill. There's a reason why I told you guys on that bill. I mean, I did speak out against it, even if you thought I was extremely biased. But even that bill, it outlined all of the critical minerals, the dollar amounts. That's what I was saying, how wild it was of what they're spending money on. But I was part of it. So, you know, depending on what window opens up, we might be able to attach it to that bill down the line. So you could start hunting if you'd like. Yeah, John Deere, I've seen that. Dude, have you seen the Long Beach port? You know, they've automated the Long Beach port like a pretty decent amount already. It's kind of insane. Meta. Powie! My main point of focus, everything. I wake up early. I look at every industry. I know biotechs. I know financials. I know bonds. I know commodities. I do momentum. I do short term. I do long term. So everything. That's why. All my short term accounts, all my random accounts, all my option accounts, all my share accounts, all my long terms, even all my fucking crypto. So everything. And that's what will be required of you as well. Let's get it. AQMS again, that's the metal recycling one. Battlefield 6, fire, dude. I love it. I love it. I didn't play it yesterday, surprisingly to some of you, but fire. We had a good time over the weekend. I felt bad for the guys I was playing with, because then they had to just hear me fucking go on rants. I was talking about society. I was talking about morality. I just imagine we were like in the middle of like sniper battles, and I'm just giving like philos. Oh, it was fun though, bro. There were some Chads, bro, who pulled up, man. We had a good time, man. Thank you if you played with me, man. That was awesome. Dude, we were like squatting out, bro. You have no idea. You have no idea. I do trade Forex the real way, though. We don't use Forex brokers. But currency, yes, that's part of it. Dollar, yen, baby. Roku AG enforcement action. Hot dog. Yeah, Roku. It hasn't reacted yet. If that hits, you're early. If not, you're dudded. But I'll leave it for you. They're not that bad. The spreads are wide. You just got to find one that's not too crazy. I would even tell you, try to find the low spread one, but that's still not going to work. But yeah, that's coming out now. I don't know the scale or importance. City Fraser, growth is cooling somewhat across economy. That's City. Yeah, parental right file enforcement action. So yeah, I didn't take one of those, but there it is. The next watch list for general public, January 1st or whenever, 2026, maybe. But so yeah, no guarantee for that. If you're on locked in, I don't have a schedule. I'll just give you random nightlies whenever I feel like it. Same thing for the morning too. And if you guys don't like that, I would just cancel now. Make our lives easier. Wrecker, they had something today too. I didn't like that one as much, but yeah, that's up 25. See, I've always liked CRM. They haven't been doing as good, but I mean, they're pretty iconic in terms of tech and their role in the cloud and just CRM software. But then again, they have spent a lot and they haven't been able to perform. They kind of went through a meta style downturn, but I like it. I brought that up with Apple earlier in the year, but Apple was the real pick. Yeah, well, CRM, man, they've been having good agents for a while. So it's not like, in a weird way, it's not like that's so new to them. BLBX. Black box stocks. Or? You got the city one. Well, yeah, add stock market live one. EA or whatever. And we'll play whenever. Or we'll do it on Friday. Because I have to see you in the chat if I'm going to add you. How do you do that one? Right, give me a sec. Pizza. How is that even possible? Are you fucking kidding? Oh, that's why. Never mind. Nobody wants to. I think that pizza buy, I think we cost Apollo like a couple billion, bro. See, they had to raise that offer, son. That's not going in. I don't know if they have that. I don't know if Trump does have anything. Still might be in Egypt. And then Elon followed a company of a CEO, or he followed a CEO of a company, and now it's up. Oh. LAC now. Remember, we had LAC too very, very early. You guys remember that, right? I think it was right here on day 1. Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah, you have Powell, dude. What am I saying? We have Powell in like an hour, dude. Dude. Yeah, LAC still going up. Yeah, TLT, I mean, hopefully we don't get volatility, but yeah, it is moving around. That's what I was saying, the bond volatility, commodity volatility, those are something we got to watch out for. Oh, yo, BHP, dog. Chief executive said BHP was now considering developing mines in Arizona. BHP. It's not really moving yet, but I actually made a play on this one this morning. That was on my list, so I like it. He said initiatives put in place under President Trump led company to increase exploration, prompted a review of options in Arizona. Stock is not moving. I'm kind of down. Yeah, 9 minutes. It sucks. I want to do another one on BHP, but it's just not moving. That's why I'm like, oh. I was very, because this one, I've made a play on this one this morning. I actually had it on my document in the morning. I was going to go over this one later because they have a very interesting... They've been around for a while. It's foreign, but now they're going to go in the U.S., but they have all these, like... They have a lot of, like, even uranium shit. I was surprised it was an underperformer, but yeah, here we are. So do what you want. I mean, you're early. Even then, if you had that, it'd be good. Yeah, they don't really move. That's why. But then again, that'll be perfect because if he just mentioned, he said he's going to work with Trump. He said the initiatives in Trump with place have led to increased exploration. So I guess they're not working, but if that's the door cracking open, I think it could start. But we'll see. Chatter's Friday meeting with Zelensky to accelerate rare earths. Ah. I see. And then LAC again. MCRP NVIDIA speculation. Micropolis. Where'd you get that one from? I don't see it. I'll look, but they're speculating. I see something in the morning So I see at 6:20, Micropolis in Dubai announced deployment of autonomous police patrol at Global Village. So it's an AI police patrol. Micropolis. I feel like your boy Larry Ellison would love this. Yeah, that's coming out now. I don't see, so people are speculating the other stuff, but there was a headline on it in the morning about doing a deal in Dubai. Oh man, well happy anniversary, brother. And shout out the long term. And may you both be blessed. AG, that's a silver one. They came up on a list with just silver. Even the silver ones went up because the fucking damn price of silver went up. MCRP now, that one's still going. So I can't verify the NVIDIA shit. That's all you guys. But like I'm telling you, I had a headline in the morning. So good luck. Yeah, it's like RoboCop. LAC 52-week high. SAP's running up. BHP's a slow mover, but it's climbing. So we'll see if we hear any more on that one. But yeah, LAC, bro, on fire. Beautiful. Just want you to know you're my favorite code. Mara. Oh, if you could get some Bitcoin moving, but yeah, they've been kind of wop. Market doing well. Russell back to green. Dow below, or NASDAQ below 1%. Dow's about to go green now, actually. So that's another good sign. I'm sure it probably shows up in the equal weight. Can I give you the BHP strike? No. I gave you the update on it when nobody was talking about it, and I gave it to you an hour before the company said they're working with Trump, and nobody knew about that. That should be good enough. You guys got to figure out the rest. You're seeing a 5-day-old post on the NVIDIA one? Nice. So yeah, I think it had Dubai news this morning, and then they might be repumping that. That's good though. But is it like it's actually real though? So either way, you guys got it on the first candle, but that first candle was still 35%. NVIDIA been powered by NVIDIA. Well. French agencies' ratings materially affected by sovereign downgrade. Or? Oh, let me see the booking. Oh, healthcare going down and XBI. So see a couple of, there's that VERT, VRD. But other than that, see if we start to actually move down. You got Euro close in 3 minutes, which also means a push-up, brethren. Also means a push-up. And then Lunar, that's another space stock. IDAI. Oh, IDYA is a biotech. That was on the list. Wasn't there CATX too, and then GATX? Yeah, I think both of those. Dude, you just reminded me. Yeah, we need to do push-ups. Oh, I need to do the foot thing, dude. My toe. But yeah, man, we've been here for 2.5 hours. I hope you're having a good morning. It should get better. And you guys know it's almost the end of the year already. You'll have Halloween and then the holidays and K-Web, but stand up. You've been here for 2.5 hours, 4.5 left to go. Sitting is the new smoking. I encourage you to move your body around. If not, that's your choice. Good luck. All right, I'm gonna play you some propaganda in the background while I get my push-ups on, son. Woo! BHF or BIAF? Why does that sound familiar? Oh, bioaffinity. Never mind. I thought it was something else. But stand up, bro. Get the body moving. JetBlue. It's another one. Oh, Uncle, bro. Oh, you guys, you'll see. Oh, I'm getting these stretches in, dog. Oh, I didn't get to the wall. Let me see if I can play you some Uncle. No. Let's go back to Josh begging you to save 10% and get a lawn term 50% ago. Let's go back to those. I like those. Those are the best, I think. You guys want to hear a beat? Look at Uncle made a song to this one. Look at this. Isn't this hard? Yeah. Get ready, chat. Get ready. Okay, but yeah. Let me see the trading fatality. Yeah, we'll play this one. This one's a great one. Oh, son. You see my pants too, bro? I've been going through so many sweatpants.
Right, I'll be right back.
Do your
I'm just
push-ups
pulling out
real.
whatever I got. I'm only farmer wearing some Nike Supreme, dog. What up? How you living, Chad? I don't even got the mic on. Here, it's gonna sound better. Okay, is that better? All right. But ironically enough, I'm walking my own trail right now at the crib, bro, at your crib. But I actually don't want to talk about the farm. I have a lot to talk about with it, but I want to talk about the long term, okay? And I did buy Intel for the long term, and we are rebuilding the long term. So I don't want to waste any time. I don't want to play around. I love you, okay? And God is good. And I try to make this channel, this one right here, we have the live streaming channel, but I wanted this to be simple this year, and I don't want anybody to fall behind. And it's fun that we're getting a compound and all that, but the real exciting part too, we get to rebuild the long term. And for those of you who felt like you missed out, who felt like this is extremely, we could chill under the tree, baby, and all of that, man. I really hope you take advantage of this opportunity. And really, all it takes is following along only a few times a month, if that, once a month at minimum, if not once every 3 months. So yeah, the mic died, but I could drive under the tree and finish the video. I think that still works. So like I was saying, man, it only takes one time a month, if that, to follow along. And we have a plan. We've been executing this plan live for everybody, and I want it easy to digest. I want it easy to get. We have so many ways to do it, just because anybody can really do it at any scale. We got a lead this year by preparing and going slow like we always did, and we talked about keeping that lead, and we did, and we built up cash and all that. So I used it on Intel, and we're gonna still be following along with that plan. But what I really want to highlight is that this is easy to get, it's easy to digest, and now we are rebuilding one of these accounts. So if you felt like you missed out on anything, this is the opportunity to really get involved, and I hope that you do. And it, just like I'm saying, it reminds me of my sister, you know, and we built Colt Sister. This account has done phenomenal, and why this account is inspiring, because she never ever raised the deposit. She kept it at $200 over the last couple years. She only wanted to start at the top like everybody else. She quit when it went down, and thankfully, you know, autopilot and simple, you know, once a month. Obviously, I'm the one who helped her with it, but that is what kept her in the game even this year. And this year has been extremely difficult, and this is why I want it to be so easy and digestible, because a lot of people freaked out. There's been a lot of false market narratives, and it has cost a lot of people, even my own sister. At the beginning of the year, you know, she sent me all of this, and I know maybe I sounded a certain way. It's funny, like back then maybe I sounded arrogant like a jackass, but at the end of the day, it really had the world's difference.
It did.
Not only in her performance.
All right, yeah, do your push-ups, baby, do your push-ups. But yeah, a couple of those minerals started moving. Now you got GM. I noticed that, so I'm like, all right. Still, remember, man, it's mad early. Got the hell Steel Dynamics now, too. You're getting some different... Oh, I forgot. They bought out U.S. Steel, remember? Where that one's not even real anymore. Mm-hmm. To expel French companies? Oh, yeah. I didn't... Well, if that did happen, but most people don't realize that it's really... It's really on there. Like like France pretty much takes all the money from Africa. People don't know that. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that, but yeah, so it would have an economic effect. It would just have to happen. So if it did happen, we could talk about it. If it's still just this phase where they're talking, we'll see. TXN. I like Pfizer. I just like it below 24. I think it's there. Yeah, it's at 24.50. So it's going to go in waves. The only problem with these is that, oh, WWR, finally. Remember, this thing was up like 30% this morning. But the thing about like Pfizer is it's still a healthcare play. It could happen in 2026 or 2027 maybe. That's kind of the longevity of it. But they got a boost there with the Trump stuff. I like them. I mean, I always have. But, I mean, for other reasons, I don't really like them. But, yeah, I would look at what other stuff is available. I just think you could wait a little longer on Pfizer, because I just don't think it'll move too much. Or if there's another, like, Trump catalyst that speeds up the timeline, then maybe we could talk about that. All right, man. Everything's waking up now. You're getting a little bit of follow-through. And then your minerals place. Oh, it might be actually, yeah. Trade Greer have had constructive talks with China over 6 months. You have trade advisor Greer making comments. That should feel like the beginning of the year, if you recall. You remember when we'd hear Greer and react? But yeah, I don't know where Powell's at, but he should be on here in like an hour. It's a little overdrive and chorus, really? Because, dude, I love that. I love the guitar. Well, yeah, I see Powell. They have it live. I don't know if this is going to be there, but I thought it starts a little later. But yeah, be on the lookout. You might. Greer, China rare earths measure is disproportionate. Rare earths measure came out of nowhere. So yeah, Greer is be careful. You might get a red here if he says something bad, but it started off good. And then Powell, I got a live feed up, but he's not live yet. So get ready. Yeah, Powell's going to be there. Chinese realized they overstepped. That's good. So yeah, Greer, those are what it was. Some of you asked me if it was Powell, but trade advisor Greer, and think about the volatility that we've had lately with the China stuff. I think you got a little bit of a push. That could have potential for a bad headline, but all of it sounds good for now. Had staff talking with China yesterday in Washington. And Vitis, they gave an update on the, what's it called? On that NVIDIA power thing that started that run, if you recall. Powell will be in another hour. But yeah, the feeds are starting to go up. Now you have Greer. Wayfair, Popper. Only 2.5, could be a melt up. Doesn't look like news yet, but there's volume. That's going right now. Tell me why. Oh, did you guys hear that? My mic. Bam, 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 bam. A China deal, it would clap them a little bit, yeah. That's why, like, in a weird way, the news was bad, but you have the minerals going up because, think about it, supply, demand, and then you have the government buying. 100% China tariff depends on what Chinese do, says Greer. There's your negative headline. So see how that follows up. China tariffs could happen sooner, as Trump said. So I don't know if that's going to cause a flush, but that's the bad part of that segment right now. And again, they're mentioning that November 1st date. You heard that? That was weird. HLX. Helix Energy. BHP. I'm gonna just melt. Like, a really slow mover. That would be interesting. Will the plan be posted anywhere? No. Just you follow along or not, it's going to be confusing, so just don't deal with me and call it a day. But yeah, I'm not going to update anybody on anything. I don't have to. So follow along. It sucks that YouTube doesn't make that easy, but yeah, unfortunately, I'll be live on the days that I want to be, but I don't, anything after that, I mean, that's all your decision. Oh, he's on CNBC? Let's get this motherfucker up.
Cutting off U.S. Not going to have that anymore.
So if the goal is to keep buying from them consumer goods, I guess you're talking sneakers and toys, things we just don't make here.
Yeah.
Why put tariffs on those products, which do risk to increase the price for Americans?
Well, first of all, we make some of those products here. We make them, and other trading partners who are more reliable make them as well. So there are other sources for these things. And actually, we've had tariffs on the Chinese since 2018 when President Trump first did it. And we've seen a lot of diversification in sourcing. Our trade deficit with China just this year, in the past 6 months, has gone down by 25%. So we're already less dependent on them now than we were 6 months ago.
Right, so are President Xi and President Trump still on track to meet this month?
So right now, there is a plan. There's a scheduled time for that.
There is. It's on the schedule.
There's a scheduled time for that. Whether it'll go through or not, I don't want to pre-commit either ourselves or the Chinese. But I think it makes sense for people to talk when they can.
Was the president worried about the market reaction that we saw on Friday after the ratcheted up tensions?
I mean, listen, we always watch the market. We watch bond markets. We watch everything. We're really focused on the long-term success of the U.S. economy, which means reshoring supply chains and having stability.
So I'm talking about,
and not being dependent on China and others for critical, sectors. But of course, we want to make sure that the market is also responding to appropriate information, right? And so I think you've seen the market settle out this week as they realize that the president and his team, we want to work with the Chinese.
And finally, just in terms of your own responsibility as the trade rep, I mean, because we see the Treasury Secretary in this administration involved in trade talks, the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, involved in these trade talks. How do you guys divide up the discussions and then the implementation?
Sure. So when it comes to what I would call pure trade issues, which are tariff lines and non-tariff barriers overseas on our services and investment, all kinds of things, the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, my agency, we have the statutory authority. We're part of the White House, and so we lead on that. Obviously, I work quite closely with Secretary Bess in a variety of situations. China's a good one because there are macroeconomic issues that tie into the trade issues, so I work with him. Secretary Lutnick is very focused on promoting U.S. exports and
Google
and
started
investment in the
going.
United States, and so he's a great partner when we're dealing with some of these developed countries, Japan, others who want to invest here.
Today, actually, the tariffs go through on lumber and kitchen cabinets and all of that. Are we going to see more tariffs and new categories coming?
So again, this is an area where the Secretary of Commerce has some authority under Section 232, and so you saw some of those tariffs go into place today. We have the semiconductor tariff program, we have the pharmaceutical tariff program. The president has done a lot of signaling on that he wants to see he wants to see more investment in the United States for those things, and that's a pathway to not have tariffs, right? The point of those tariffs is to reshore supply chains, and we see that happening with pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. But you may see in coming months, reports describing the status of those investments, and if there's a tariff needed, what that might look like, how that might be phased in.
Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us and giving us all the information, especially on China, top of mind for the market right now.
For sure.
It's good to see you, Ambassador
Estee
Greer.
Thank you
Lauder.
very much.
Jameson Greer,
EL,
US Trade
speaking of
Representative.
the
And
devil.
quick note, there's still time to sign up for CNBC's
Oh,
what we're
gosh,
just
those
talking
are
about, Invest in
terrible.
America Forum, taking place tomorrow right here in Washington, D.C.
Those are
we'll have a
terrible.
chance to talk to some of the biggest names in business
Oh,
and
I think
policy.
I got a good
Treasury
one.
Secretary Scott Bessent
That's just
will be
fat,
there.
bro. It's not a
The CEO
trigger
of
yet.
Wells
You're almost
Fargo
there.
will be there.
EL,
Pfizer
related to
CEO as
China
well,
shit and retail.
who just announced a recent major investment in the U.S. You can still sign up. CNBC events/invest. Carl.
Key conversation as the Dow joins the small caps and going green for the morning. Still to come, Wells Fargo is up after raising its outlook, helping to lead the S&P.
I got really, really cheap
lifting
ones.
up
I don't
that
know
asset
how.
cap as a major catalyst. CFO Mike Santomassina is going to join us with more on the
Oh,
quarter when Money
LVMH
Movers
numbers.
continues in just a minute.
Nice. Yeah, that might be. It's not news. It's LVMH. They shot up 3% versus 1.9. Asia was +2 versus -3.6. Check all the clothing companies, even Nike. That's it. LVMH earnings are very good. Like Tapestry, TPR and EL will probably be more linked. They have more of the China demand. Yeah, also TPR. Nice. All right, Mara, crypto's starting to wake up. A couple of the shitty crypto plays with it. SPY's only 0.25% down, man. Almost 100 points from bottom to top. Oh, wow. Wines and Spirit. Bro, what the fuck? Dog, LVMH did really good. Yeah, that's why Dio's going to go. Even Tap and all of them might catch a little bit, but Dio's more foreign. Yeah, Bud as well. Bro, alcohol was up 1 versus -3. That's crazy. That is nothing. That does not. Dude, all of them. Yeah, you guys see it, right? It's on the wire right there, but holy fuck. That's nuts. Oh my goodness. And then, yeah, now Albemarle as well. Yeah, very unexpected. That means your clothing in Asia, as well as like even domestically, did very good. And then a couple of the beaten down industries also were able to outperform. I think that's a solid win. So those ELs haven't hit yet. I got the really, really cheap ones. They were so far out, but I got them so cheap. But yeah, that one was small. We'll see. But Tapestry will be another one. Otherwise, in a weird way, Tap and Dio. Tap didn't move as much. Dio took a stick off that. That's crazy. I don't know the margin yet. I mean, you could probably see it somewhere. You could pull it up. But even then, 1% organic revenue growth. All of their estimates were negatives. And they did good. What's the other one? BHP. Yeah, that one's still moving up slightly. VGT and then Albemarle as well. Yeah, Nike shouldn't go a little bit, but it seems the more nicer designers, you know, that's why Tapestry, and then Estee Lauder just has the China comp. That's it. The fuck, bro? Fill my shit, son. That's weird. They just filled my 100%, or they gave it to someone else. Tell me why. Oh, did those go down? GTM. Oh, wasn't there a Chinese one? Yeah, this one's a weird one. It's a weird China one. KKR again. XLU Utilities. Holy shit. Okay, now Baba. I don't know if they're running off LVMH as well. Okay, now Ralph Lauren. They're gonna have, or they're gonna come out, I think. Well, that's US, but yeah, Ralph Lauren with a stick. It's all tied to the LVMH stuff. That one just moves a little later. The EOs are good for now. It just all, if you're closer to the money, and then DO as well too. Those should fill any second. I want it long term. HPE. Under 20. I think you could expand that criteria. That's a good place to start, but, and you know, things have changed a lot. I need to make another one. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I just haven't released it. I have discovered something new with options and even just other trades. It's actually fascinating. I shared some of it with you a couple years ago, but long story short, after 2021, something changed with the market makers. And it was confusing at first, but now it's there. That's and why I'm saying that is, like I'm telling you, 20 cents is a good place to start. But the other day I told you guys, get away from that, because now it's changed. Something's different. But at the same time, it's under, that video is still very applicable, but I wouldn't just, don't box yourself in. That's it. Be free, brother. Be free. But yes. BBY, Best Buy now taking a pop, and now you guys said Nike. Let's go. Asian, you should get a house, man. Can you do that? Let's do it, bro. I think if your parents will help you or anybody, we should do it, bro. Right away. Especially if you were part of that TLT, man. Let's get it. All right, Estee Lauder, they won't feel me. I gave it to me for like 2 cents, so I don't care. I want it that way. Oh, man. AIRO? Arrow? Bro, High Taker is ripping. So now you're about to fill the gap. That's 100 points, big dog. Bottom to top. That's insane. So you didn't fill the gap, you guys. That's the funny part about this. You technically did not fill the gap. I don't like that. It reminds me of 2018 still. Because now if we get one bad Trump headline, hypothetically, we could still rip up. But then we get one bad headline. I mean, there's still... and why do I say that? Because that's how we fucking filled this gap right here. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Either way, Bitcoin, EL, Ford, AMD now, everybody's starting to wake up a little harder now. I think the material started it. There's a couple other pumps out there, a couple materials, steel specifically, STLD, that one keeps running up. But yeah, man, I hope you planted a little bit. Make sure you pay yourself too, and... I want it long term. Start considering higher premiums. I mean, I can't stress it enough, man. Just start considering what you're actually doing. Like, just, you know, that's why that video is so crucial, because I'm telling you, I'm explaining this to people at retail. I'm explaining this to the people who work at the fucking banks. It's very simple. It's in the money dynamics and how you go about. So that's why any price, it doesn't matter what the price is, actually. We just need to know about the stock and then make sure that it's lined up, and then just avoid the scams. So if I could avoid the traps, and then you do what I just said there, that's what's going to kind of complete it. But the price doesn't matter as much as it did. You know, back then it did. It mattered a little bit more. It was a clear distinction. But now it's a lot more flexible, because we could do it, and it may end, it may change, but what I've been working on has been pretty accurate here. And that's why, but it didn't, the thing that's not stable is the prices. So I could do the same thing with like a $3, $200 option. You could still hit 1,000%er on there. That's why I have one that I'm looking at. I didn't take it today, but that one would be a good example of that if I do it. I'll do it and I'll show you after. I don't want to play it now though. Powell's going to be in about an hour here. Syrian President Sharad to visit Moscow on Wednesday. Yeah, Eli Lilly's a great example. That one's like I have something specific with Eli, but that one I've gone various prices. Like one of those that we hit, they were like 100 something, but they went to $2,000 a pop. You see what I'm saying? So it's, unfortunately, you can't play them on small accounts, but it's still there. I'm not showing anything. I'm just talking. So yeah. GNK. Etsy again. You just heard that one. AQMS still there. Holy. You guys heard that one too? What's going on? LAZ. That's Lazy Boy, right? Oh no, Lazar. LAR, LAZ. Powell's 1220, I believe. Yes. Give or take. Yeah, I don't know why my thing's been really staticky. Static. Got it at the backmatic. Stem. Let me check that STLD. My Estee Lauder. That was kind of a dud. I'm just being greedy though. Yeah, what the fuck, dude? They filled it hella weird, but I only had 10 bucks worth. So not bad. Dirty back. But you can't stop. That was not my neck, thank God. No, that'd be crazy. Dog. DAR. Okay, Estee trying to do it again. There's BHP, man. That one's just a slow mover. So that's why, like, if it hits a pop, then the premiums go. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep climbing. I want it long term. City again. You had Fraser comments not too long ago. FFIV, we saw a little bit on that one. Nothing materialized, but it's still doing that little melt up. APLD as well. Like CDRE. Cadre Holdings. Now we got Verizon. Some of these are fresh new highs. SPY's surprisingly still red, but look at the high ticker. You're gassing out now. So that's still good. Now you got more Uber transports. AQMS, they do recycling of like minerals and materials. That's why I looked at it. I was like, oh, it has mineral metals in the name, but it's actually a recycling company. Dude, I saw STI yesterday. I would have played it if it had options. I don't like it with shares. French Socialist says it will not vote to oust Le Cornu. Le Cornu! What are you talking about? Long-term. Long-term investment portfolio. Oui, oui. 20 minutes till J-Pop. I want it long-term. You know, I haven't looked at the long-term yet. Believe it or not. What about Macron? Dude, did you see Donald Trump shaking his hand? That was funny. But then again, I'm like, dude, that was such a big day, man. You know, I do know that people are doubting whether or not it will hold, but, you know, in theory, and you know, that was a very big day yesterday. So, very glad. But yeah, I think that's why. I think some people, you know, regardless of the politics, even some of the other world leaders, I think they were pretty happy. Bitcoin. Hi, my name is Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's already recovered about 2%. It was down 4 at one point. More crypto. Yeah, it was the historic Hitler peace deal, you know, because they called him Hitler for a long time, and then, so I guess Hitler brought peace. Surprising. But like I said, I don't like any more, so GG's. Thank you, Donald Trump. XRP and Binance. It's pretty nuts, but I even said it though. I think I tweeted it, but they are looking into it. I don't think it's barren, you guys. I think it's the same people that were insider trading under Biden. That's why, like, there was even a report that they are investigating a ring in the White House, because you guys don't remember that one big non-farms in it was like 2023. It was so important. And then you don't remember, like, a minute or a couple minutes before, somebody fucking put millions of dollars on ZB and they made a fortune. So that was not, there was no Barron, there was no Trump, none of that. That was just straight the staffers. And I think that's a very reasonable conclusion. And that's why too, man, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I'm seeing a lot of people complain about some shit like that, but what did you guys think you were gonna get when like a world of prediction markets, like, you know, you guys are trying to demand justice, but like, I'm pretty sure this is what you signed up for. I think all those people wanted it to make this actually more of a gray area. So it's people at the White House, it's people who get information, but now even more so, you tie this to the culture and laws around the prediction markets. I mean, I don't know why you're appalled. It's probably going to happen a lot more, and it's probably going to be legal. So that's what I was trying to tell you guys. The same people under Biden, Trump doesn't have the same staffers. He'll figure it out. I don't need to explain it to you. But yeah, go look. What happened to bond futures? I mean, all I'm saying, a more egregious insider violation did occur. It's not like this is new. Southwest and Delta. Oh, I don't know. It might be the OBS, bro. So yeah, if I do cut off randomly, if both feeds go down, my computer, my OBS is fucking up. Baba. UNH a little bit. Remember, you had Cigna and Elevance going crazy. And then CCJ. I moved the wires around just in case. And then we already did push-ups. It's 9 o'clock, baby. We're moving through the day. Again, we have Powell coming on at any moment. Should be in the next like 20 minutes. If we do get a pre-written statement, that'll be fire. That'll make your job a lot easier. But otherwise, we're going to be listening live for any updates. I want it long term. Walmart now, remember they had OpenAI deal and all that today. Check Staples, that's going to lead the index though. Bro, all of those airlines, I keep every 10 minutes. It's UAL, Delta, Southwest, and then Bloom Energy. They had the deal yesterday. Oh, shit.
Hi, folks. Please keep eating. I'm just going to make a few quick opening remarks. My name is Alon Collette. I'm a portfolio manager at Fidelity, a longtime NABE member.
Kind of weird.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, there might not be pre-written statement. This is it.
67th annual meeting.
Oh, they.
With the highest attendance again since.
Highest attendance. I wonder
today.
Why, brother.
You know, in thinking about what I was going to say when I got up here, I actually sit up in Canada.
So yeah, this is the Powell
which,
thing.
Again, is north of us,
no statement yet.
in a city in Toronto. And I thought I would really love to bring 2 baseball hats and give them to Chair Powell and Emily. But the compliance requirements to give 2 baseball caps to the chief economist of Ford and the chair of the Federal Reserve are such that there's no chance of me giving you a hat, a Toronto Blue Jays hat, even if they will the World Series. So I'm the conference co-chair and NABE director. Again, I'm at Fidelity.
But I can pay you
Before
$1 million times
I'd just like to
small
remind everyone to
$1
support
donations.
the NABE Foundation.
That I
you can scan that
brother.
QR code. What? We are about $2,200 away from our goal. So it's either one of you or many of you with a little bit. The donations help fund scholarships, mentoring, and research grants that keep the community growing. It's really effective, and we're quite close. So your help can push us over the top. I want to thank my co-chair, Elena Shulyateva. Thank you so much. Our conference planning committee and the NABE staff for their incredible work bringing this event together. So join me.
Why is he talking like
I'd love if these folks could stand up or even wave. Please join me in recognizing the NABE staff who make all of this possible. Caitlin Patrick, Charlie Seindel, Colette, Kristen McLaughlin, Melissa Golding, Narmeen Benaiza,
XNCR,
Suzanne Clegg, Tara Monroe, and the great Tom Beers.
And the great Bradley Frizzle!
Yeah,
you
Tom,
know he dropped the peach yesterday too. They don't feel you, dog.
I'd also like to thank and recognize our partners, our sponsors, and our partners one more time. Intuit, Fidelity,
Bradley Frizzle,
Peterson Foundation, EY, Parthenon, KPMG, the McKinsey Global Institute, Morgan Stanley, the Economist Intelligence Unit, Wells Fargo, MetLife Investment Management, Haver Analytics, Woods & Poole, Bloomberg, and S&P Global. Thank you very much for that, for the very generous support.
And y'all still need 2,200? The fuck? Just tell Michael Bloomberg that Donald Trump
it's
is
now
going
my
to
pleasure
donate.
to announce the 2025 NABE Lynn Reeser
Don't let Donald
Economic
do it.
Forecasting Award.
Oh, don't let Donald
which recognizes
do it.
the most accurate forecaster over the past 12 months. which is really a feat over the last 12 months.
I know, thank you.
That's pretty remarkable.
Very. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ.
First
I told
place
you
goes
that
to
from day
the Wells
one.
Fargo team, Jay
Amen.
Bryson's team. Jay recently retired, and no one is here to accept the award, but please join me in congratulating him. Oh, they are here. Okay,
Oh.
that's right. Yeah, come on up. Oh.
Binance will distribute 300 million to users who were liquidated during the crash. Damn.
Thank you. Yeah, great job. You guys go. Yeah, great stuff. Congrats. And the second place goes to Richard Wubkind of the University of Colorado Boulder. After the year we've had, special kudos to both winners.
Yeah, well,
great job.
I'm surprised there's no pre-written statement.
So now I'd like to turn it over to our president, Emily Kolinsky-Morris, to present a few more awards, none of which I won. So, amen.
We'll get you next year, Alon, because I am here to take a moment before we move on to our lunch, the rest of our lunch program. I am going to take a moment to recognize 4 outstanding members of the NABE board whose terms are ending this year. So we have Wilco Schultz-Mellendorf, and then here in the room, if I could ask you 3 to come up, we have Kathleen Navin,
Is that
Gail
volume
Selfin,
real?
and our past president, Julia Coronado.
It's because they're doing this on Zoom. Maybe we should donate the 2,200.
So just a few words about these wonderful individuals who have given 3 years of their time to the NABE board, or a little longer in the case of Julia. First, Wilco, who could not be with us today. He's of Amazon, and his impact on NABE has been tremendous. He's been a key driver of the Tech Economics Conference, helping it evolve as we've incorporated causal inference and AI tools into our collective
I think it's green now, right? The green.
His vision and technical insight have helped keep NABE at the forefront of applied data and technology in economics. And then we have Kathleen Navin from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, who has been deeply engaged across NABE programs from the annual meeting to the Economic Measurement Seminar, which was absolutely fantastic this year, and has been an important contributor to the Certified Business Economist program and the NABE Foundation. Her thoughtful input and steady leadership has strengthened nearly every initiative that she's touched. Then next we have E.L. Selfin, Chief Economist at KPMG UK. Yale's been a vital bridge between NABE and the global economics community. Throughout her involvement in the policy conference and in the international symposium, she has helped NABE connect with leading economists and policymakers across Europe. Yale's deep network and international perspective have been invaluable in broadening NABE's reach, and fostering meaningful global dialogue among economists. And finally, Julia Coronado, founder of Macro Policy Perspectives, who has been a true cornerstone of NABE's leadership for the past decade. Julia has served 7 years on the board, including as president and most recently as past president. Her macroeconomic expertise, her mentorship, expansive network have all shaped countless NABE programs and surveys and helped advance the CBE program. So on behalf of all of NABE, I want to thank Wilco. Thank you, Kathleen, Yale, and Julia for your service, for your leadership, and for your lasting contributions to our community. And not last contributions, but lasting, because I know you're not quite going anywhere, just rolling off the board. So if you could please come up, and we will, I think, do a quick picture. Your plaques have not arrived, unfortunately.
Supply chain issues.
There. Thank you. All right. Now we'll move on to our awards presentation. So normally when we have such a well-known and respected speaker, I would say this person needs no introduction and you would rather hear them speak than hear me speak about them. But at this moment, and in the case of the presentation of the Adam Smith Award, I think it's more than appropriate that we take a moment to appreciate exactly who it is we're recognizing today.
Dude,
So
there's no
Jerome
pre-written
Powell
statement yet.
First took office as chair of the
watch
Board of
out for that.
Governors of the Federal Reserve
This is
System
live, bro.
in February of 2018 for a 4-year term. And he was reappointed to the office and sworn in for a second 4-year term in May of 2022. He serves as chair of the Federal Open Market Committee, the system's principal monetary policy-making body. Mr. Powell has also served as a member of the Board of Governors since taking office on May 25th, 2012 to fill an unexpired term, and he was reappointed to the board in June of 2014 for a term ending in January of 2028. Prior to his appointment to the board, Mr. Powell was a visiting scholar at the Bipartisan Policy Center in Washington, D.C., where he focused on federal and state fiscal issues. From 1997 to 2005, he was a partner at the Carlyle Group. He served as an assistant secretary and as an undersecretary of the U.S. Department of the Treasury under President George H.W. Bush, with responsibility for policy on financial institutions, the Treasury debt market, and related areas. And prior to joining the Bush administration, he worked as a lawyer and investment banker in New York City. In addition to service on corporate boards, Mr. Powell has served on charitable and educational institutional boards, including the Bentheim Center for Finance at Princeton University and the Nature Conservancy of Washington, D.C. and Maryland. And of course, among his many other professional engagements, he has been a strong and consistent supporter of the National Association for Business Economics. And we are very grateful for that engagement. So because of that, we are very pleased to be presenting him today with the Adam Smith Award. The Adam Smith Award is NABE's highest honor, and it was named for the 18th century Scottish philosopher and economist whose ideas about economics led to the growth of modern capitalism. And this award has been given annually by NABE since 1982. And it is essentially, as one of my colleagues said to me, this is our Hall of Fame. Past recipients include several Fed presidents and prestigious economists across the spectrum, including Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke, as well as Arthur Laffer, Susan Athey, and going a little bit further back, William Poole from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and Lawrence Klein, who won the award in 2004. We are very pleased today to be awarding this honor to Jerome Powell.
Wait, hold on.
Jerome Powell's exemplary leadership
as
chair of the Federal Reserve, especially in navigating the complexities of monetary policy during challenging times, has had a profound and lasting impact on both the U.S. economy and the global financial system.
Oh, no.
Under his stewardship, the Federal Reserve has effectively managed unprecedented economic challenges,
Tag me in that one, El
including the
Coyote.
COVID-19 pandemic, by taking a thoughtful and data-driven approach to monetary policy setting. His decisive actions to support economic recovery, promote financial stability, and ensure a resilient financial system have demonstrated an unwavering commitment to U.S. economic growth
I don't
and
see
well-being.
it live, but El Coyote saying
The strength of his leadership has also earned him the respect
Scott
of
Bessent is on the
policymakers,
Charlie Kirk
economists,
show.
and business leaders
That'd be crazy.
worldwide.
I'd listen to that until Powell came on.
His work, particularly in the areas of monetary policy, financial regulation, and economic resilience, absolutely align with the ideals of the Adam Smith Award.
That was one the other day.
He has consistently applied
more
foundational
airlines,
economic
too.
principles to address real-world challenges, upholding the Federal Reserve's high standards of sound economic management and transparent policymaking in the process. So with that, I am very pleased to welcome to the stage
tag me in it.
Chair Jerome Powell. Thank you.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, it's live. I don't see it on the other one, but Bessent is on the Charlie Kirk show right now. So this is going to get confusing, you guys. because Powell has no pre-written statement, so he could say anything and we can move. And then you're also going to have Scott Besson at the same time, possibly. Yeah, Besson's talking right now. I have 2 feeds.
You got a camera somewhere?
I thought we did, but maybe not.
There we go. We don't have a camera. There we go. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. Hurry up, Powell. What the fuck are you doing? What's this guy taking his sweet time?
A tribute.
I'm going to play the guy who should have your job.
Thanks to the National Association for Business Economics for the Adam Smith Award. It, for me, is an unexpected honor just to be mentioned alongside many of your past recipients, including particularly my predecessors, Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke. So thank you very much for this recognition.
Right now, there's no risk-free path for monetary policy.
I will say...
He's saying policy-driven data risk assessment, U.S. government shutdown suggested growth may be better than expected. So no risk-free policy, but he sounds bullish.
My favorite venue all these years.
I'll keep reading and then keep listening. Data in hand suggests current economy is where it was in September. Downside risk to jobs have risen. Rising risk to job market
This is a place where we can talk about economic issues and not worry that someone's eyes might glaze over.
That's funny. They waited till he got
up. I also
up
appreciate
to
the warm
statement.
welcome I've always received here. And putting Fed staff aside for a minute, I can't think of a more lovable group of econ nerds anywhere.
I can. Recent data points to low hire employment. U.S. Central Bank has other data beyond government to use.
And for the opportunity to speak to you here today.
It's the same shit. I'll listen for any random
monetary policy is
headlines,
more effective
the same one. And remember,
when the
he has
public
a Fed meeting
understands
in a
what the
couple
Federal
weeks.
Reserve does and why.
Oh shit! May end balance sheet runoff in coming months. All right, that's bullish.
Policy, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet.
Do you know where to go?
A colleague recently compared this topic
balance
to a trip
sheet
to the
runoff.
dentist, but I found that comparison somewhat unfair to dentists. So today, I'll discuss the essential role that our balance sheet played during the pandemic, along with some lessons learned.
Yeah, that's bullish.
I'll then review our ample reserves implementation framework and the progress we've made toward normalizing the size of our balance sheet. And I'll conclude with some brief remarks on the economic outlook. So, one of the primary purposes of a central bank is to provide the monetary foundation for the financial system and the broader economy. This foundation is made of central bank liabilities. On the Fed's balance sheet, the liability side of the ledger totaled $6.5 trillion as of October 8th.
Balance sheet runoff ending. So you got something. Like I'm telling you, if you noticed, I said it's the exact same thing until I saw that. He's saying everything else, but he just gave you guidance on balance sheet runoff in coming months. We've been looking for that for every single one. What does balance sheet runoff entail? You go watch the other videos. Woo!
These deposits allow commercial banks to make and receive payments and meet regulatory requirements. Reserves are the safest and most liquid asset in the financial system, and only the Fed can create them. The adequate provision of reserves is essential to the safety and soundness of our banking system, the resilience and efficiency of our payment system, and ultimately the stability of our economy. Third is the Treasury General Account, or TGA, currently at about $800 billion, which is essentially the checking account for the federal government. When the Treasury makes or receives payments, those flows affect dollar for dollar the supply of reserves or other liabilities in the system. The asset side of our ledger consists almost entirely of securities, including $4.2 trillion of U.S. Treasury securities and $2.1 trillion of government-guaranteed agency mortgage-backed securities, or MBS. When we add reserves to the system, we generally do so by purchasing Treasury securities in the open market and crediting the reserve accounts of the banks involved in the transaction with the seller. This process effectively transforms securities held by the public into reserves, but does not change the total amount of government liabilities held by the public.
Yeah, they're
the
doing
Fed's
it.
balance sheet serves as a critical policy tool, especially when the policy rate is constrained by the effective lower bound, or ELB. When COVID-19 struck in March 2020, the economy came to a near standstill and financial markets seized up threatening to transform a public health crisis into a severe, prolonged economic downturn. In response, we established a number of emergency liquidity facilities. Those programs, supported at the time by Congress and the administration, provided critical support to markets and were remarkably effective in restoring confidence and stability. At their peak in July 2020, loans from these facilities totaled just over $200 billion. Most of these loans conditions stabilized. That's normally the deepest and most liquid market in the world, and the bedrock of the global financial system was under extraordinary pressure and on the verge of collapse. We used large-scale purchases of securities to restore functionality to the Treasury market. Faced with unprecedented market dysfunction, the Fed purchased Treasury and agency securities at an extraordinary pace in March and April of 2020.
I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
These purchases supported the flow of credit to households and businesses and fostered more accommodative financial conditions to support the recovery of the economy when it ultimately came. This source of policy accommodation was particularly important as we had already lowered the federal funds rate close to zero and expected that it would remain there for some time. By June 2020, we slowed our purchase pace to a still substantial $120 billion per month. And in December of 2020, as the economic outlook remained highly uncertain, the FOMC said that we expected to maintain that pace of purchases until substantial further progress has been made toward the committee's maximum employment and price stability goals. That guidance provided assurance that the Fed would not prematurely withdraw support while the economic recovery remained fragile amid unprecedented conditions. And we maintained that pace of asset purchases through October 2021. By then, it had become apparent that elevated inflation was not likely to go away without a strong monetary response. At our meeting in November 2021, we announced a phase out of our purchases. And at our next meeting in December, we doubled the pace of that taper and said that asset purchases would conclude by mid-March of 2022. Over the entire period of purchases, our securities holdings increased by $4.6 trillion. So, a number of observers have raised questions, fairly enough, about the size and composition of asset purchases during the pandemic recovery. Throughout 2020 and 21, the economy continued to face significant challenges as successive waves of COVID caused widespread disruption and loss. During that tumultuous period, we continued to purchase in order to avoid a sharp, unwelcome tightening of financial conditions at a time when the economy still appeared to be highly vulnerable. Our thinking was informed by recent episodes in which signals about reducing the balance sheet had triggered significant tightening in financial conditions, and we were thinking of the events of December 2018, as well as the 2013 taper tantrum.
You hear
Regarding
that?
the composition of our purchases, some have questioned the inclusion of agency MBS purchases given the strong housing market during the pandemic recovery. Outside of purchases aimed specifically at market functioning, MBS purchases are primarily intended, like our purchases of Treasury securities, to ease broader financial conditions when the policy rate is constrained by the effective lower bound. The extent to which these MBS purchases disproportionately affected housing market conditions during that period is challenging to determine. Many factors affect the mortgage market, and many factors beyond the mortgage market affect supply and demand in the broader housing market. With the clarity of hindsight, we could have, and perhaps should have, stopped asset purchases sooner.
Oh, yeah?
Our real-time decisions were intended to serve as insurance against downside risks. We knew that we could unwind purchases relatively quickly once we ended them, which is exactly what we did. Research and experience tell us that asset purchases affect the economy through expectations regarding the future size and duration of our balance sheet, so that when we announced our taper, market participants began pricing in its effects, pulling forward the tightening in financial conditions. Stopping sooner could have made some difference, but not likely enough to fundamentally alter the trajectory of the economy. Nonetheless, our experience since 2020 does suggest that we can be more nimble in our use of the balance sheet and more confident that our communications will foster appropriate expectations among market participants, given their growing experience with these tools. Some have also argued that we could have better explained the purpose of asset purchases in real time. There's always room for improved communication, but I believe our statements were reasonably clear about our objectives, which were to support and then sustain smooth market functioning and to help foster accommodative financial conditions. Over time, the relative importance of those objectives evolved with economic conditions, but the objectives were never in conflict. So at the time, this issue appeared to be a distinction without much of a difference. That's not always the case, of course. For example, the March 2023 banking stress led to a sizable increase in our balance sheet through lending operations. We clearly differentiated these financial stability operations from our monetary policy stance. Indeed, we continued to raise the policy rate through that time.
I forgot about that extra bank.
Turning to my second topic. Pardon me. Our ample reserves regime has proven highly effective, delivering good control of our policy rate across a wide range of challenging economic conditions, while promoting financial stability and supporting a resilient payment system. In this framework, an ample supply of reserves ensures adequate liquidity in the banking system, and control of our policy rate is achieved through the setting of our administered rates, interest on reserve balances, and the overnight repurchase rate. Reverse repo rate, rather. This approach allows us to maintain rate control independently of the size of our balance sheet. And that's important given large unpredictable swings in liquidity demand from the private sector and significant fluctuations in the autonomous factors affecting reserve supply, such as the TGA. This framework has proved resilient whether the balance sheet is shrinking or growing. Since June 2022, we've reduced the size of our balance sheet by $2.2 trillion, from 35% to just under 22% of GDP, while maintaining effective interest rate control. Our long-stated plan is to stop balance sheet runoff when reserves are somewhat above the level we judge consistent with ample reserves conditions. We may approach that point in coming months, and we are closely monitoring a wide range of indicators to inform this decision. Some signs have begun to emerge that liquidity conditions are gradually tightening, including a general firming of repo rates, along with more noticeable but temporary pressures on selected dates. The committee's plans lay out a deliberately cautious approach to avoid the kind of money market strains experienced in September 2019. Moreover, the tools of our implementation framework, including the standing repo facility and a discount window, will help contain funding pressures and keep the federal funds rate within our target range
I like it, but
through this transition to lower reserve levels.
Oh, man.
Normalizing the size of our balance sheet does not mean going back to the balance sheet we had before the pandemic. In the longer run, the size of our balance sheet is determined by the public's demand for our liabilities rather than by our pandemic-related asset purchases. Non-reserve liabilities currently stand about $1.1 trillion higher than just prior to the pandemic, thus requiring that our securities holdings be equally higher. Demand for reserves has risen as well, in part reflecting the growth of the banking system and the overall economy. Regarding the composition of our securities portfolio, relative to the outstanding universe of Treasury securities, our portfolio is currently overweight longer-term securities and underweight shorter-term securities.
This might be twist.
The longer-run composition will be a topic of committee discussion. Transition to our desired composition will occur gradually and predictably, giving market participants time to adjust and minimizing the risk of market disruption. Consistent with our longstanding guidance, we aim for a portfolio consisting primarily of Treasury securities over the longer run. Some have questioned whether the interest we pay on reserves is costly to taxpayers. In fact, that is not the case. The Fed earns interest income from Treasury securities that back reserves. Most of the time, our interest earnings from Treasury holdings more than cover the interest paid on reserves, generating significant remittances to the Treasury. By law, we remit all profits to the Treasury after covering expenses.
If I don't listen close, I might have
since 2008, even after accounting for the recent period of negative net income, our total remittances to Treasury have totaled more than $900 billion.
China could be tied to the bonds, you guys.
While our net interest income has temporarily been negative due to the rapid rise in policy rates to control inflation,
he's not speaking
this is highly unusual. Our net income will soon turn positive again, as it typically has been throughout our history. Of course, having negative net income has no bearing at all on our ability to conduct monetary policy or meet our financial obligations. If our ability to pay interest on reserves and other liabilities were eliminated, the Fed would lose control over rates. the stance of monetary policy would no longer be appropriately calibrated to economic conditions and would push the economy away from our employment and price stability goals. To restore rate control, large sales of securities over a short period of time would be needed to shrink our balance sheet and the quantity of reserves in the system. The volume and speed of these sales could strain Treasury market functioning and compromise financial stability. Market participants would need to absorb the sales of Treasury securities and agency MBS, which would put upward pressure on the entire yield curve, raising borrowing costs for the Treasury and private sector. Even after that volatile and disruptive process, the banking system would be less resilient and more vulnerable to liquidity shocks. The bottom line is that our ample reserves regime has proven remarkably effective for implementing monetary policy and supporting economic and financial stability. So I will close with a brief discussion of the economy and the outlook for monetary policy. Although some important government data have been delayed due to the shutdown, we routinely review a wide variety of public and private sector data that have remained available. We also maintain a nationwide network of contacts through the reserve banks who provide valuable insights, which will be summarized in tomorrow's Beige Book. Based on the data we do have, it's fair to say that the outlook for employment and inflation does not appear to have changed much since our September meeting 4 weeks ago. Data available prior to the shutdown, however, show that growth in economic activity may be on a somewhat firmer trajectory than expected.
Yeah.
While the unemployment rate remained low through August, payroll gains have slowed sharply, likely in part due to a decline in labor force growth due to lower immigration and lower labor force participation.
He's telling you the economy is stronger than they're expecting and then what they're seeing, but then at the same time, this plan today and the runoff is going to support the bond market and funding. It's kind of easing. It's pseudo easing. That's a pseudo rate cut, big dog. So it's pretty interesting.
Perceptions of job availability and firms' perceptions of hiring difficulty continue their downward trajectories. Meanwhile, 12-month core PCE inflation was 2.9% in August, up slightly from earlier this year, as rising core goods inflation has outpaced continued disinflation in housing services.
I'll write it down.
Available data and surveys continue to show that goods price increases primarily reflect tariffs rather than broader inflationary pressures. Consistent with these effects, near-term inflation expectations have generally increased this year, while most longer-term expectation measures remain aligned with our 2% goal. Rising downside risks to employment have shifted our assessment of the balance of risks. As a result, we judged it appropriate to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance at our September meeting. There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate the tension between our employment and inflation goals. This challenge was evident in the dispersion of committee participants' projections at the September meeting. And I'll stress again that these projections should be understood as representing a range of potential outcomes whose probabilities evolve as new information informs our meeting-by-meeting approach to policymaking. We'll set policy based on the evolution of the economic outlook and the balance of risks rather than following
I've never heard him stutter this much, bro.
And with that, thank you again for this wonderful award and for inviting me here today. I look forward to our discussion. Thank you.
Q&A! Fuck yeah. All right, man. That was big. So, we'll see. If you're on locked in, just get ready for a random watch list. No schedule. Otherwise, I'm just going to start writing down my predictions on a Google Doc, and then I'll just keep them in my Google Doc so I know I called it.
Thank you, Chair Powell, for the
I don't think y'all going to use them anymore.
Excellent remarks in the Adam Smith address, and we will have about half an hour for questions. So
sounds like a long time.
Should have talked longer.
Sounds like a really long time. Perfect time for Philo.
So let me start with, before I go to some of the questions coming in from the audience, and do use the Connect app to generate those. You have said, and you repeated again here, that there are no risk-free paths to the Fed now.
That's tied to Brazil.
So in light of that,
hey, you're ripping.
And in particular,
I think this question's
with where the recent inflation data are running, let me group this with some of the questions that we're seeing coming in on the app as well.
Look at the high ticker.
Obviously, always data dependent. But thinking about the dual mandate of maximum employment and price stability, how concerned are you that the if the rate of pass-through of tariffs is slower, that might begin to look like more persistent inflation, as opposed to a one-time, as if the tariff adjustment came through all at once, and then it would be quite clearly a one-time price level shift.
So that's certainly a risk. As I mentioned, there really isn't a risk-free path now, since it appears that inflation is running above our target and appears to be continuing to increase quite gradually, but increase. It's still on the way up. So there's a risk there that would lend to greater persistence. But now the labor market has demonstrated pretty significant downside risks as payroll jobs have declined, and both the supply and demand for labor has declined quite sharply. So those two states of affairs for our two goal variables, call for different monetary policy responses. So as they come more into balance, I think the idea has been that policy should move from being tight to some degree to being more neutral as those two things balance out. But it is clear, though, that if we move too quickly, then we may leave the inflation job unfinished and have to come back later and finish it. And if we move too slowly, there may be unnecessary losses, painful losses in the employment market. So we're in the difficult situation of balancing those two things. I think for the last few months, we've been able to maintain a restrictive stance because the labor market was still pretty solid. I think that the data we got right after the July meeting showed that, which adjusted back all the way through May, showed that the labor market has actually softened pretty considerably and puts us in a situation where the two risks are closer to being in balance.
Let's move to the other risk then and talk about employment a little bit. We had Anna Paulson here yesterday, and she spoke about the break-even unemployment or break-even employment growth rate. And that's a question from the audience as well. So I believe she said that it's certainly lower than it was, and the standard error around those estimates probably includes some numbers that might even be negative. Where do you see the monthly break-even employment growth rate at this point?
I'm not going to try to give you a pinpoint number, but as you pointed out, the standard error around these things is 50,000 plus or minus, something like that. And that would certainly, I think the range of plausible numbers for the break-even rate is probably does go below zero, accounting for those standard errors. It's clearly come down a great deal. And that's what's so challenging about this is that both supply and demand
Oh, yeah, I was muted. My bad. I was going to say, he keeps saying no risk-free rate or no risk-free path because he's trying to... He doesn't want you to think about neutral rate right now. Today was a pseudo rate cut, bro. If you get one of those, like, ending the runoff. So I think he's trying to temper. He doesn't want the market to front run it too much. That's why he's saying no risk-free path. But everything else he's saying, that doesn't match up. So it's good news. And like I'm telling you, he did something. It's good news today. Maybe it leads to something bad, but for the most part, there was another part about it.
2 or 3 questions, so I might have to come back to you. That's right. So on transmission, there, in theory at least, I see 2 things. One is, what we say and the actions that we take on monetary policy and how quickly that gets into financial markets. So if you go back to when I was in college, that part would have taken, weeks, months probably. And now that part happens essentially instantaneously. But the rest of it, once it's in the financial markets, how quickly does it affect economic activity, unemployment, employment, inflation, et cetera? I think that's more dependent on the conditions in the economy. For example, if you take the group of people who had extremely low rate mortgages, right? And even so, if you can cut rates, but they're a long way down, and they're sort of in a place where it's going to be expensive to take out move and to take out a much higher rate mortgage, even assuming significant numbers of cuts. So that has probably blunted the transmission of lower rates into that part of the economy. But overall, I think it still works the way we think it works, which is, long and variable lags means a lot of uncertainty about how it's being affected. I think the last part of your question.
Yeah, send me Cody.
The
I'll look
lore
at
has been that inflation and employment.
There was one that he sent that was way below market.
The first decisions are purchasing decisions,
I said,
hiring decisions, and things. Well, purchasing decisions, can be affected probably more quickly. But then those would eventually affect employment and inflation. So longer lags are when the research generally shows longer and longer lags for employment and inflation.
And I guess the variable part of that comment does give us a bit of cover.
A lot of uncertainty.
So you spoke about the adjustments or the challenges that you're facing with some government data not currently being published.
That one got swooped up.
Beyond
responded
the headline
right.
unemployment rate, which we're not
I said,
going to
tell
see
me what
right
I'm
away.
missing. I just don't know
What
the area
other
the
labor
same
market
way.
indicators are you monitoring most closely
you come
to
across
gauge
that type of
side
shit,
of the
run
mandate?
it. I like that a lot.
So I think everyone's looking at the same non-government
Boeing
data.
again,
So there's
LAR
a
and LAC.
set of non-government data around, or
TLT
non-federal
moving now.
government data around labor markets. For example, state level unemployment, claim reports. You can add those up and get a pretty decent estimate, and that's a really good one. There's also ADP has its data and employment. So in the employment space, there's some plausible data. I will say generally the private data, the alternative data that we look at is better used as a supplement for the underlying governmental data, which is the gold standard. And it won't be as effective as the main course as it would have been as a supplement. So we don't expect that we'd be able to replace the data we're not getting. So I think in job, in employment space, there's some pretty good substitutes, less so in inflation space, and in economic activity space.
AMD.
And also they're just,
the high taker's been gassing. This is broad.
Different
Let me get the checkup one more time. And
data
confirm.
providers use different universes and different levels of rigor.
Yeah, Dow
in
20 green, 10
in their
red, that
data
flip.
analysis.
NASDAQ
So,
70 green. So another 30 or 40
we're looking
went
at lots
green.
of things, and
SPY,
we're going to make our decisions
150 went green. You're out
according
400
to the
positive
FOMC
now.
schedule.
So like
But
I'm
I
telling
think,
you, that was easy.
It will be a lot better once we start getting, for example, the September employment report is going to be a very
But
important
yeah, that was
report.
positive, man.
And
Powell just did
we're
something.
not on track
I don't
to
think
have
anybody
that.
was
There would
expecting
still
that.
be time for us to get that. We will get, of course, the September inflation, the CPI and PPI
Yeah, that
reports.
should
So
affect the problem. I mean, either way.
That's a positive.
This is a pseudo rate cut. That's what I call it. I called that months and years ago. Anytime we've brought this up, you remember that one meeting when he first did it? So this is a pseudo rate cut. So it's one thing that they're going to cut a couple more times, but now that's even more
You used the
supportive.
term gold
It's
standard,
very,
and you
very
didn't
odd.
mean it in this context, but I'm going to pivot
Yeah,
here because
Airbnb, Whirlpool.
there's a
woke up. That
question
was down.
from the audience that's getting a lot of upvotes. So one of your predecessors, Alan Greenspan, used to view the price of gold as an indicator of inflation risk. So in that context, how do you view the rally that we've seen in gold? And if you want to throw in Bitcoin, you can comment on that too.
Oh, gold and Bitcoin question.
I'm not going to comment on any particular asset price, including that one.
Why?
And I think we think of inflation as driven by fundamental supply and demand factors, and it's not something we look at actively.
Fair. The September projections, we saw revised GDP growth projections revised upward for both 2025 and 2026.
You're getting waves right now.
Now, sometimes it's just an issue.
Home builders are ripping. Remember, I told you there was a couple home
reconcile
builders.
that projection of stronger growth with what we're seeing in terms of
Arc is
like the
still red.
weakening labor market?
Albemarle and other materials, and Baba.
So
Baba has a
even
long way to go,
subsequent
but
to the
Baba's about to go
September
green.
SEP, we've seen
That was a 4%
economic activity data, which are surprising to the upside.
Yeah, everything, bro. You're
As I
fully
mentioned in my
maxed out.
remarks, so you do have a bit of a tension there between the labor market data that we see, very low levels of job creation, and yet people are spending. So economic activity is strong, and it's we're going to have to see how that plays out.
You're even
right
above
now,
the last 2
of
days.
course, we're not getting any new government
I think
data on that,
68,
any new federal
66,
government
80,
data on that. But
90
it does create,
otherwise we'll rip through it.
you know, of course, if economic activity were stronger, then that would tend to support labor market activities and hiring. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Another topic that has permeated
that's funny,
the conference
Today's
over the
a big
last
day.
2 days has been AI. So
No way, y'all
as the
pissed me
Federal
off right
Reserve,
before
like all
this.
of us,
It's nuts.
grapple with the implications of
You guys
generative
know,
AI,
like the guy
what
on
plans
Friday,
are in place to
you realize
assess
he
its
has
long-term impact
$1.6
on
million,
productivity,
and he sends me his
implications for
portfolio,
labor markets, and
he
overall
goes and
economic
complains to you
stability?
guys?
And
Isn't
does
that
that present
wild?
any new risks to
Thank Mr. Michael for
monetary
that
policy
one.
or financial
Mr.
stability?
1.6
So you're right.
million.
We're
But
doing
yeah,
what
this
other
is
people
huge
are doing,
today,
which
guys.
is
This is big info. I don't
you know,
think this was
reading all the
expected.
things that, I mean, so many researchers are working on AI now. It's just amazing. And so we follow all of that. We also have people at the Fed who are doing lots and lots of research on AI. And
I'll make
you
everything
know, in
free
terms
if,
of,
if
it's just
Michael
such early
gives me
days
$250,000.
to be looking for the kind of things
Otherwise,
that
you
will
guys
happen.
could
So,
blame
you know,
Michael
question
for
of
all of it.
productivity.
There's a lot of you too, but he's an easy
You
one
know,
to blame.
it was it
'Cause
Robert
today's
Solow
big.
who
I have a
said
lot to
that
tell you, but I don't really want
technology showing up everywhere but in the
to. I
productivity
don't know.
data.
I can't explain it.
So this could be the same kind of thing where it's there, but it takes a long time kind of to show itself, because you would think
guy
of
who don't need it makes
another
the
big
most
technological
noise, dog.
advances potentially raising productivity, but I think it's early to say that we're seeing it. Also, you're seeing, I think some researchers have found effects on hiring from AI for entry-level people and for coders and things like that. So there's probably some of that out there, but it's just so early to say what it will be. We also monitor very carefully what public companies are saying. Increasingly bold statements from mainly large private companies on things that they think they can do across their whole business area with
like
AI.
I said, I don't want to be
either
mean. Otherwise, I'll have to
sort
turn
of
it
freeze
off.
hiring where it is or reduce hiring.
Either way, today's huge, you guys.
I think we're
keep that in mind.
pretty
This ties
aware of
into
what
rate
the
cuts.
potential outcomes are, but the range of potential outcomes is
Doesn't
is
mean
very
anything
broad.
about assets.
I will say,
you got a movement.
in terms of what the Fed can do, we deal with supply and demand. We have an interest rate, and we also do regulation, that kind of thing. But if what's needed is greater education and skills, I mean, I've always liked the model that technology can work for everybody as long as everybody's.
I'm telling, dude, I thought this was going to be nothing. Even that first couple of statements, I was like, same thing. And I saw balance sheet runoff. But yeah, so this is important. That's Kathy Forrest and not Kathy Wood. Yeah, if Kathy Wood never discovered
can't do that.
innovation,
That's not something the Fed can do.
She would have remained
We also
in this state.
We can't address the potential societal disruptions that could happen.
The possibilities are
potentially, if there's really significant job loss. So there are a lot of, we're the least of it. There are potentially really significant implications for people in the labor force. And I think we're all speculating about what those might be, but it's only the beginning of this story.
Yeah. Looking at some of the other questions that are getting upvoted, and you can get as far into the weeds as you want, but this is where people want to go. So let me try this one.
Silver.
As you think of the appropriate level of reserves in the system, what indicators are most important?
No, we got like 10 more minutes.
Is it the price of money, so repo levels, or the volume of borrowings from the Fed, like the discount window, and so on?
TSM
so
now.
We have a
Intel coming back.
We have a nice spider chart and a 5 main indicators. One of which is sort of repo levels.
God, he said
and
that
I think
so much.
Overall, what they're showing is that we're still at ample reserves. Abundant reserves. We're still at abundant reserves, meaning above our goal of ample reserves, a little bit above ample reserves. So, but we're beginning to see. You're starting to see a little bit of tightening in money market conditions, particularly repo rates have moved up. And those are the things we're going to be watching. So we think we're still at abundant, and we're, the pace of runoff is now very, very slow. So we're going to be watching all those factors very carefully. And we're not so far away now, but there's a ways to go.
Far away from what? Are you going to say
we're not going to get away without addressing this one. So I'll try to, again, group some of these together. First, there's definitely appreciation from the audience and your ability to try to remain above the political fray.
Had bad news yesterday.
And I think also, and as in your remarks, you said gradually and predictably, and that sounds really nice right about now. But with that ongoing scrutiny of the policy decisions of the Fed, what measures is the Federal Reserve taking, and are you taking, to ensure and demonstrate the continued independence in setting monetary policy?
So the main thing we can continue to do is to do our work the way we've always done it, which is, think really carefully about evolving economic conditions and the evolving outlook and the balance of risks, and try to make good decisions to best serve the American public, and then explain those decisions and talk about them in a way that makes sense and is grounded in the data and our overall approach. I think we're going to keep doing that, and as long as we're doing that, people will be able to tell. If we start doing something else, I think people will be able to tell that too. But that's just not something we're ever going to do.
Okay,
we're always going to keep doing our work.
Yeah,
we don't engage in back and forth with people. It's just not that gets to be political sort of right away. So we just do our work and do it as best we can. I mean, overall, I would say the Fed comes through the last, if you think about it, go back to the beginning of the global financial crisis. We've had two world historical crises back to back, essentially. And the U.S. economy, it's been quite a ride for the U.S. economy and for American citizens, but we've come through it as well or better than any other country in the world. And we had to innovate and did innovate. There was really no choice.
You hear that, Kathy?
We can look back now and as I did today and second guess ourselves, which is only appropriate. That we've been doing it for 10 years. Since I got to the Fed 12 years ago, we were already doing a lot of that. So that's an ongoing process. But I think if you take a step back, the Fed is a government agency that does a good job for the public that it serves. And that is our only goal. And I think we do it pretty well. Don't look for perfection. These are close calls that have to be made in real time. But I guess that's what I would say.
It's fantastic. And in that context, then, internally to the FOMC, how important is it that you have consensus on it? I mean, we're economists. We understand the value of spirited debate, but is that important in terms of communicating the results and the decisions of the committee?
Do a push-up.
I mean, consensus is great, but I mean, the most important thing of all is to get it right. And, that you come to places, not very commonly, but sometimes you come to places where people are going to have different views, and this is one of them. You have a situation here where literally inflation's above target and gently rising. The labor market is subject to pretty clear downside risks. What do you do? How do you think about that? That's not a problem that you face very often in central banking or in the economy. And people are going to have different weights and different risk aversion and different risk appetites on those things. It would be kind of surprising if you had no debate over those things. So we have a healthy debate going. I think it's very healthy. I think the meetings that we've been having are as good as any we've had, in terms of people sincerely, giving their absolute best argument for their positions, but they're different positions. That's, when I was an investor, I always felt like the most dangerous thing is if everybody agreed on something, because you need someone to come in and try to explain why this is a terrible idea. Hopefully somebody really smart.
Yeah,
and that would give you the ability to really test your thinking. So I think that's a healthy discussion that we're having right now. And I'm not at all surprised that we have people across the board. I do think we also, as an institution, do try to come together around a central answer, and that's of course part of what I try to do is find an answer that will attract as much support as possible.
Absolutely. I know you probably won't want to comment in great detail on global conditions, but there are a few questions around that and what that implies for U.S. monetary policy, and also just looking at the interest rate differentials between the U.S. and other advanced economies, and how long that could persist, and is there a risk there?
Sorry,
the interest rate differentials between the U.S. and other advanced economies.
Yeah, I mean, we set interest rates according to, the place where our economy is domestically, taking into account the international aspects of our economy. So again, it's not surprising. I mean, you could name many factors, but for example, tariffs are clearly more disinflationary for countries that are subjected to them, and they're more, I won't say heavily inflationary, but there's some inflationary pass-through to consumers from countries that are putting tariffs on. So there's a very different monetary policy response potentially just in that. I think we need to set, as every other central bank does, they're setting rates in whatever their remit is geographically, and they're going to be different answers. It's not unusual.
So we have a large number of young economists in the audience today.
Last question, probably. I'm gonna go
Could you talk a little bit about, as we look back, and it's a momentous award, it's a nice time to reflect. If you looked back on your early career and your early goals, how do you think that young Jerome Powell would view where Jerome Powell is sitting today as chair of the Federal Reserve?
Surprised. No, I would say, so what I would tell young economists is you've chosen a great profession, a tremendous profession. You're getting the tools to analyze public policy and what works and what doesn't work and what should be expected to work and wouldn't and why. And also what's the state of the economy. And guess what? It's not just hard, it's basically impossible. But it's a very, very difficult thing, but it yields itself up over time. And, it's just an incredibly important subject that carries the capability to do really good things for the general public, who may not feel great gratitude toward economists, but sometimes. But no, it's really important. You made a great choice. And I would say, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Agree. Okay, we'll do a little bit of a lightning round here. We have about 5 minutes left, so I'll ask a bunch of questions that you may not want to get into great detail on anyway. Yeah. Some of these are pretty straightforward, but so we talked quite a bit about labor markets, but we have not specifically asked the question about the effect of immigration policies on labor supply. How restrictive do you think that current policy is, and is that something that will just
current immigration policy?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me start by saying that we don't have a view on immigration. It's not our job to have a view. So we take that as completely
Stargate possibility.
It is what it is.
Argentina.
We take it as it arrives.
None of them are moving yet. Again,
I'd say stronger
ARGT,
policy
eBay
than most people had
is really hard to
expected.
play.
We've seen
it's coming out
very
now.
sharp decline in growth of the labor force and in people entering the country, and yeah, I think you're only beginning to see the strength of that policy too. There's more expulsions; those are rising, and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a big economic factor. So that will mean fewer people to work. You have anecdotal evidence of industries that are just having a hard time finding people. You don't see it in wages or anything like that at this point. You don't see, at least in the aggregate, you don't. But yeah, it's going to be a really important economic fact because that's new people who come into the workforce. They create their supply, but they also create demand. They create their own demand, and again, from our standpoint, we're just our job is to achieve maximum employment or maximum sustainable employment. And that will depend both on the supply of workers and the demand for workers.
Back to the balance sheet, some questions. Again, I'll kind of try to group these together around mortgage-backed securities and housing affordability. Again, not directly part of the dual mandate, but would the Fed ever look at any specific actions with regard to MBS to address mortgage rates or affordability for housing?
The answer is, look, we look at overall inflation and we don't target housing prices. And also I don't know how you would, we would certainly not engage in mortgage-backed security purchases as a way of addressing mortgage rates or housing directly. That's not what we do. Okay. We do have, as I mentioned, a very large amount of mortgage-backed securities, and they're running off, but they run off pretty slowly.
Fair. Question on the beverage curve. Maybe that's not a lightning round question, but let's try it. So do you think that the shift in the beverage curve is a structural shift or just a blip?
I think it's, you're at a place where, further
what's the headline on
declines
Intel?
in job openings might very well start to show up in unemployment. You've had this amazing time where you came straight down.
It wasn't that. Intel.
I just think you're going to reach a point at which unemployment starts to go up. And we haven't really, we may be hitting that now, but it's been remarkable how that line had just comes down. And, which has been, really a great part of the recovery.
That's big. It's it's worst day here for a while.
Well, we have just a couple minutes left. I think we'll end with maybe another
I don't think those are going to hit. They were
question.
They gave it to me.
Michael Barr spoke to the policy conference in 2024, I believe it was, and he gave some advice to economists. What would your advice be to the economists in the room in terms of how we can best serve the challenges that are facing us collectively in this moment?
I'm inclined to say keep your heads up. It's a time when people are challenging expertise. And
check Truth Social.
I think it's a distinguished profession. It's a very high order profession, and you should be proud of your work and keep at it. Ultimately, we're learning about how the economy works and how society works. Our understanding is so basic and so uncertain, really, still after all these years.
They got LinkedIn, but that's not it.
You got to think we're making some progress and doing some
Intel
good.
adds new GPU
and imposing,
to AI
sort of an analytical
portfolio.
framework around the kind of decisions people make about the economy. So I just want to give you a vote of support and say keep at it.
It went and then faded.
And likewise, NABE supports you.
Okay. I sold out 50%. I don't like that one as much.
Are we done?
Are we done?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's it? That was such a weird ending.
Thank you very much.
All right, dude, is this an AI, bro? Why is he fucking talking? Dude, this is so weird. All right, well, it's balance sheet runoff, he says soon. Intel just added a new AI product. That's why it's moving. I went in and out real quick. And then you also heard about Argentina. Again, Powell I thought he was going to say the same thing. It sounded like that in the beginning, but then now he doesn't. So, Chatadonia, I hope your day is wonderful. I hope you're feeling good, but do you understand what time it is? It's time to move on over. So, God bless America. Thank you to the veterans. I think it'll take you there. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to go to Philo. So, if you don't want to listen, I don't really care. So good luck and have a good day. Bye.